It's just one more way of reducing your liberty and reminding you that they can fuck with you anytime they want.
Well, we've already been suspended. That's a good start, isn't it? That's amazing. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
I got to say, that's one heck of an intro.
Yeah, it's a great intro.
It looked awesome. I mean, like the Carlin thing too, but just your little.
But like the actual
animation.
intro, yeah. It felt like I was going on a real TV show. Like,
I'm almost positive it's gonna come back, because sometimes this happens where they'll suspend it for a minute and then they'll come back. So I'm sure the chat.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The chat is gonna probably let us know once we're back. But Gary's in the chat too. Gary's there.
Gary's there. That's awesome.
He's like, what happened?
Does this happen to your channel a lot?
No, it's the first time.
Oh.
But it's happened before on John's.
They were listening to us before. Right,
I'm just seeing if it's come back. Yeah, no, still unavailable.
Oh, that sucks.
Gary's laughing.
Damn.
Golly.
Wow.
That's crazy that we were literally too high for YouTube. What?
Have you shown that Carlin video before?
No.
It might be that.
That might be it.
Because it was so long.
That's probably what it is.
No.
Does it say on your back end what it is?
Let me check. Stream. What do I do? Let me see. They don't like George.
Yeah.
Yep, we're up.
We're good?
We're back up.
Are we back?
We're back.
Okay, here we go. I knew it. I knew we would
Looks
be back.
like we made it.
Looks like we made it. Guys, this is going to be such a crazy stream. It's already been taken down. But they're not going to take us down forever. We're back, baby. We're here. And we're proud. We're not queer, but we're here. We're proud to be here to talk about the crazy shit that is going on in this world. And I'm so happy to be joined by these two lovely human beings, Foulball Productions and Vigilante Williamson. Matt, you're so awesome. I'm so glad to have gotten to know you. Please let everyone know where they can find you.
Well, hello. I'm Matt from Foulball Productions. You can find me at my channel, Foulball Productions, but I'm one half of the culture crime fighting team. We do a show every Wednesday. We just did our show about a few hours ago, where we kind of tackle like pop culture stuff, try to keep it funny, and talk, little shit on the, I don't know, just the bullshit that's around, just the bad culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Vigilante.
We fight culture crimes.
Yes.
We're the culture crime fighters. By the way, my name is Vigilante Williamson here on the first episode. And I fucked it up because I already got out of breath. First episode on Nina Infinity's channel. I think maybe the second or third time I've ever streamed with her. And probably the only time I'll actually have a conversation, because a lot of these streams can get pretty crowded. So you don't really get a chance to talk.
Yeah, this is like quality time. This is quality time. So definitely, it's really exciting to have you guys both. And I've realized that you guys are kind of like a team. So how did you become a team? Like, did you just like find each other on YouTube, or did you guys know each other like in the past?
No, we found this fellowship, this community, so to speak. I see Neurotic in the chat.
Hello.
Honestly, through his member streams, it kind of was the first place we met.
Yep.
And then we would just stream together on one thing. And actually, like, he like Foulball came with the idea with the cultural crime fighters, but like it was like we did 2 or 3 streams where we happened to stream.
Mhm.
I think one of them was around a certain date in January, and like
Oh yeah.
Matt just went off. I'm like, man, this would be really cool to stream with him a lot. And then it was like a couple different streams around that time, and you were just like great. And then you said, hey, we should stream a lot more. I'm like, yeah. And then we came up with the idea of doing a show every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And, that's what happened.
I mean, it was like the introduction was made from Gary, but I got to give shouts and props to Jake D because he's taking a little break from streaming. But back then he was kind of like the ringleader.
Oh,
He would collect us all up and like, had a Discord where he would put the StreamYard link. And I just got lucky enough to start streaming with any of these guys. And then, me and Vigilante, we just had great chemistry and then decided to do a show, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
nice. That's awesome, you guys. I love seeing like dynamic duos and like, cool teamwork. It's always really cool. And the other thing that I like about you guys is that you don't always necessarily agree. Like I watched your streams where you get into like really heated debates, and I really appreciate that because I feel like that's almost like a lost art these days with people not being able to talk freely about how they feel about something, and then other people get their feelings hurt, and then it's just that kind of culture now. So I really do appreciate that. Everybody who's in the chat, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. Please smash the like, share the stream, all that good stuff. It's going to be a crazy show because we're going to talk about Joe Rogan and that thing he took where it got rid of the Kofi business.
Would you mind if I just jumped in real quick? I wanted to talk about the George Carlin clip that we just watched.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how much the audience just saw. But it's kind of weird because like I'm sort of an aspiring comedian. Like I've gone on stage a few times, and literally just before this show, I was just writing some joke ideas, and I felt like kind of constrained. I was like, I don't know, I don't want to be too serious or start writing my own, my own points or whatever. But then watching him, I mean, it was like a preach, like a sermon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just speaking exactly what he thought. It was well thought out. It was poignant. It was funny. And then there was I noticed when he first said the thing, I think it was about the lethal injection, like the eruption from the crowd, like that it was like this gratitude that someone was pointing out how absurd the world is.
Yeah.
And it was like you could hear they were being saved. It was really amazing.
I know. I always talk about George Carlin was way ahead of his time. He's like one of those comedians that, I mean, I'm almost like, it's sad to see whenever comedians, depart us, but at the same time, I'm like, he's in a better place. He would have hated this world because this is exactly what he warned us about. He knew that this was going to happen, and he was trying to warn us for so long, and he would hate to be here right now because we've literally done everything that he said we shouldn't do.
Yeah. Funny, we need him now more than ever.
We do. That's why, you know what, Matt? Do it. That's one of the biggest things, man. Humor
replace Carlin. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
No pressure.
No pressure in regards to replacing Carlin, but do your comedy because I don't know if you know, are you familiar with a YouTuber called Awaken with JP?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Definitely check him out because he's like, I checked him out for like years before COVID and everything like that. And he used to make fun of kind of like the SJW ideologies and like just really like small things, like just weird stuff.
JP Sears. Yeah.
JP Sears, Awaken with JP.
Yeah, Jake D's a huge fan of his.
I love him. And he's doing it right now, like just using humor and comedy to bring attention to what's going on, but at the same time, fight it at the same time, right? Because you can't really argue with that logic of fighting that what's going on right now with humor. And that's what they don't have. They don't have a sense of humor. That's their weakness. They will never understand it. That's why they're trying to get rid of it. So I encourage you to write jokes. I encourage you to get into to all of that. We need more of that for sure. And I mean, you too, Vigilante. Like, I mean, you're a funny guy. Start writing some jokes.
I'm not a comedian. No,
He's not a comedian though.
But like I couldn't do stand up. I couldn't write. I can't write stand up. Like everything has to be spontaneous. And I got real that it's like years ago I tried, and like my sister, she laughs at all my jokes, and I tried. Like I said, I wrote, and it was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna do this. It ain't for me.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't do anything the first time you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Derek Jeter, cleared the bases the first time he swung the bat.
You know what's funny that you mentioned Jeter? Because when Nina was talking about us disagreeing, I'm like, all the stuff, culture stuff, I think the Jeter conversation was the most vehement disagreement we had. Where you said Jeter, who I think is a great baseball player, is one of the greatest athletes of all time. And I'm like, that's a step too far.
Still think that.
I don't know anything about that guy. Therefore, he's not the greatest athlete of all time.
There we go. There we go.
Well, this is Nina's show. I'm not gonna hijack it.
But then again, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know anything about baseball, but I know Darryl Strawberry. Does that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he as good as Darryl Strawberry?
He's way.
I mean, I was a huge Darryl Strawberry fan growing up because I'm a Mets fan, but he surpasses Darryl Strawberry in almost every way. So power, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know nothing about baseball. You can talk to me about basketball. I will. I'm very good. I'm very versed in basketball, and used to be in hockey too when I was paying attention to hockey because I'm Canadian. So that's you have to know hockey.
Right.
But I haven't been following it since I left.
It's like the vaccine passport. They won't let you leave the country if you don't know hockey.
It's
maybe since you've left, they've taken it from you, like it's gone.
Bro, we rioted over freaking Game 7 when the Canucks lost. We rioted over that shit. And we're not rioting over vaccine passport. I don't know what's going on over there in Canada. We have our priorities all messed up. Canadians are like, what? We're gonna riot over hockey, but freedoms and rights, like we don't care about that. What's that?
Would you have hockey, you hosers?
There was the thing though with the cops, right, that refused to enforce some of those COOF regulations, right?
Yeah,
supposed
Lord
to be
Thoth, one of our own, was one of them.
Yeah, it was like a stop and frisk or something.
There was a couple in Calgary. There was some in Montreal that did as well. But for the most part, I haven't seen anything going on in BC with the RCMP in BC or anything like that. But I mean, you never know. The cops are all different, right? We're all human beings. So some of them are like, they will agree and some of them won't, and they have arrested pastors and they have arrested other people that weren't supposed to, they broke the quarantine rules or whatever. So they were arrested.
Yeah. That was the funniest one. I was listening to like an old podcast from like back in the height of the COOF, and it was interesting. Like it's like, oh, now when you look back on any media from this time, it's gonna all have that sprinkled in as like COOF stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was the one where it's just like it's a point that's been made before, but it's like you can't go to church, but you can gather to destroy the fabric of society. That's fine.
Yeah.
Light fires, throw bricks.
Don't you know if you actually do that, there's no way transmission can happen somehow.
Right. There's a magical blanket of protection around you.
I know. I always say that.
Antifa member, so it just is not going to mess with its own.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that about restaurants because they're like I saw this thing that was going around last week with somebody having they put like a warning about wearing masks, like if you're away from your table and blah, 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 like on some restaurant. And I'm like, yeah, because a force field,
it's magical.
It just, it lifts over your table and it stops the virus from getting in or whatever when you're at your table. Well, once you leave that table and the force field will not follow you. And that's why they need you to wear that mask.
It's pretty amazing.
It's all magic.
Amazing how that's why we really need to be doctors to discuss this, because you can't figure out all the nuance of the COOF. It really is. It's like a ninja.
No, but speaking of that, we are not medical experts. YouTube, Auntie Susan, whoever you are that's out there watching this stream, we are not medical experts on this panel. We definitely encourage you to speak with your own doctor when it comes to any of the stuff that we're discussing, whether it's masks, getting the jab, ivermectin, anything, from moving forward, I will be calling that drug IV from now on. So because we will be talking about it a lot. So just so you know, IV for short. But yeah, so we're not medical experts. We're going to move forward now and start talking about what's going on So last week, Joe Rogan came out and said some stuff. He said that he got the coof, and that he threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. And within a few days, he was okay. Did you guys catch his latest podcast? Did you?
I think that's the
I saw the
podcast, but I
post.
did see that story.
You saw the story, but you didn't watch the podcast?
He had Segura on, right?
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it because I was curious to see like what his first the response was going to be like after he had
I forget
come back.
about Rogan sometimes. I mean, just because he's not on YouTube anymore, like I
Yeah.
genuinely have to make a mental effort to go watch it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I have Spotify, but like I do have to make a mental effort though, because but I was really interested in knowing what he was going to say after coming back. Because you had headlines like this coming out and saying, Joe Rogan doubles down on unproven IV about bout with Koof. They go on to explain like what he said during that podcast, which basically he came out and said they tried to make it seem like I'm doing some wacky ass shit that's completely ineffective. Joe said that what they didn't highlight is that I got better. And that's one of the main takeaways from all of this is that the media's wanted to shit on this treatment. Like so
And lie.
hardcore and lie, like
Flat out
blatantly
lie. Yeah.
about it.
Like the next line is a lie.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, and we're going to get into breaking the narrative on this because this is all bullshit. Well, it's not so much bullshit. It's not that it's not used like this, but we're talking about a lot of different nuances here. Like they have ones specifically for humans. We're talking about dosage. We're talking about a lot of different things. So it's not that it's not used to deform horses.
Botulism toxin can murder you instantaneously if you have it in a can of soup, but it'll also like make your eyebrows a little flatter too. So it depends on the dosage and the delivery.
Exactly.
And it helps with migraines. And what I was going to say is like, I can't remember what, but there's like a chemical in yoga mats that's also in a lot of blueberry muffins. So like, there's a lot of stuff. I'm not joking.
What? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's like like some plastic type preservative.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is.
No,
enjoy that muffin. Enjoy. You guys, you're from Canada. Enjoy that Tim Hortons. But no. So there's a lot of links. I mean, do you guys remember the pink slime from fucking McDonald's?
Yes.
We're gonna really go down well, this could be used for this. It's like, well, fucking Coca-Cola can fucking clean your toilet. Like, are you kidding? We can go all day with this.
Right.
The other thing was there was another line in this where they actually described, I'm trying to find it, but they actually described what he said that he used, because it wasn't just IV that he used. He used a lot of other stuff, including vitamin C IV drips, like high concentrated vitamin C. And we've known for a long time that that's very good against the flu and the cold, like anything really. It's a miracle cure. And I think there was like other like let's see, but they didn't even say vitamin C in here. Where is that paragraph where they used? The FDA is not authorized or approved. Ivermectin, that's another lie. Blah, blah, blah.
Didn't he also say, like, he's not, what's I love about Rogan? He's not backing down at all. Because I think he said something like, do I have to sue CNN?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And I hope he does. Hope he does.
It really is funny how much this pisses them off. That he, you know what I mean? He's got this much influence, this many people listening to him. He's just telling his experience.
They
like,
hate him. They absolutely hate him. And Dr. Pierre Corey is somebody who I follow now because I did watch the Joe Rogan's special where he did interview Dr. Corey and Brett Weinstein. And that was the first time that he brought up IV and they started talking about it, and how actually Mexico was one of the first countries that utilized IV, and their death rate dropped in Mexico City. They were talking about that, and that Dr. Pierre Corey was saying how he was so surprised that didn't take like immediate headlines, and the fact that they did all this and the death rate dropped. Same with India and stuff like that. That it wasn't headline news, and he started to wonder really like what is going on. And he's done a lot of research since then. I follow that guy on Twitter, and he's just every day he talks about different things when it comes to that drug. Like today, he posted this thing. And we're going to go through this because I feel like this kind of really breaks the narrative on all of this. The great ivermectin deworming hoax. And this one is by Dr. Justice R.H. Hope, MD. So again, YouTube, this is all doctors talking about this stuff. This is not us giving our medical opinion. This is doctors giving their medical opinion.
To be fair, Justice Hope, is that his rap name? Like, how is that his real name?
Justice R. Hope.
Justice R. Hope?
Yeah.
That's your birth certificate? Holy smokes.
That's it.
And you're a
That's
doctor? Sounds like what universe are we in? Like maybe he's the main character. He could be the MC with that type of name.
See, and you say you're not a comedian. See, that was funny.
I couldn't have wrote it. Yeah, I can't even say the word, damn it.
See, that was also funny.
There we go.
Oh my God. By the way, we have a lot of cool people in the chat. I just want to quickly say hi to. We got Darren M in the house, Punk Waddles here, Patrick Bateman's here. What's going on? Professor Galen, everybody, Eric E. Clay's here, Zach's, I should say, sorry, Darth Hasker's here. Hello, Shane Nolan, Aiken, everybody's here. Thank you guys also very much for being here. Stomp Rat, what's going on? Good to see you. Okay, so let's get into this amazing article. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to go over some of it. And also, the link is in the description, so if you want to follow along, because he does have a lot of different links in the article as well. So here we go. Saying, in a normal year, the Kentucky Poison Control Center might receive one call from someone who has taken IV, a drug commonly used to treat parasites in livestock. So again, this is true. It is. But amid increasing misinformation about the drug's ability to both treat and prevent COOF, that number has increased to 6 this year. This alarming news was published in Spectrum News, formerly known as Time Warner Cable, on August 24, 2021, and should be a lesson to every American. I'm just going to say, guys, I'm reading this, so I'm not looking at the screen. So if you have anything to say or anything like that, please just go ahead, interrupt me. The lesson is not about ivermectin being poisonous, because it isn't, but about the pervasiveness of the type of new internet propaganda termed information flooding. Okay, so this is what we're talking about right now, is this exact thing that's happening. Because in the past little while, like in the past week, all we've been seeing is all these headlines about how people are taking horse tranquilizers and horse dewormers and this and that, and so and so is a horse.
It sounds like they're trying to liken it to like when they tried to make it sound like Trump said you should take bleach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very similar.
They're trying the same strategy where it's like, he said he wants horse dewormer. Who's this guy? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it's like. So every time he says something in this article, he backs it up with what he's talking about as well, which is really cool. In an even more alarming report, NPR wrote, Minnesota's poison control system is dealing with the same problem. According to the department, only one IV exposure case telephone call was reported in July, but in August, the figure jumped to 9. And he goes, are you kidding me? 9 telephone calls are enough to make the news. We have 2,213 deaths on August 26th from COOF, but these 9 telephone calls are enough to make headlines. We have
people die from aspirin each year. Like, seriously. I could say that just without
He talks about that early, like he talks about that later in this article. That's a really good point, dude. We have a media blackout on how India used cheap IV to obliterate the Delta variant. And while we struggle unnecessarily to sell the public on problematic yet profitable jabs, the CDC coordinates all 55 poison control centers across the nation. This is an important note. And they are closely aligned with the FDA, which we now know is captured by Big Pharma. More on this later. Again, another link. Suddenly, we see hundreds of articles or so-called IV poisoning. Indeed, we see more articles published than there were phone calls in August on IV to poison control centers in the entire nation.
And by
That's
the way,
a huge thing.
that thing about FDA and Big Pharma being together, that's not even kind of news. Like that, like it's news that people are being aware of it on a grand scale. But I used to be really into like food activism, you know what I mean? Like anti-agribusiness and stuff like that. And
like
that was
GMOs and stuff like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was a constant thing they would bring up. How people in the FDA were also from Monsanto, and crossover was constant. And that's why so much of this legislation was always in favor of their drugs and their, the Roundup and all that stuff, because it's just, they're in bed together. So it's like, yeah, that's how it's been. It's not even new.
No,
Why would that have changed?
Yeah, exactly. This is their MO. And we know for a fact that I think it was Fauci's wife is like the head of the FDA that heads getting the approval for Pfizer. So there's a lot of weird connections in it too. And I think there was another one that actually Awakened with JP talked about, which is that the head of Pfizer, like the CEO of Pfizer, was an FDA CEO as well, and then they switched, like they went to the FDA, so they just kind of like go back and forth.
Unfortunately, our government does that a lot. Most of the bureaucracy is made up by the corporatocracy or people who are formerly of the corporatocracy. And you guys talking about the FDA and their corruption. There's an old book, and you can even look up the guy. What was it called? Like everyone heard of it. The cures they don't want you to know about.
Oh, I don't know.
Came back in the mid 2000s, early 2000s. It was a book, and this guy Kevin Trudeau, not the same Trudeau but
no relation.
No relation, at least to my knowledge. Who knows? But like, he ended up going to jail for like 10 years.
Wow.
He might even still be in jail. I think he might be out by now. But over some really BS claim, he said something in the book about like fasting or something like that, I believe, and they called it what did they call it? Fraud of some kind, like false advertising. Really, it's because a lot of the stuff he was talking about is correct, and he was talking about not just a bunch of things that could treat diseases, but he also had stories of people who had come up with treatments that could cure people, and certain government agencies basically shutting that down.
He probably suggested something other than a medicine can cure a disease. Because I don't know if this has changed, but it used to be the hard stance of the FDA was nothing could cure a disease other than a medicine. Meaning that like there was this farm in California that sold cherries, and on their website they would link studies from scientists and doctors saying how eating cherries helps with arthritis, and the FDA shut them down.
Yeah, I remember that they had a huge push quite a few years ago like against basically vitamin C, vitamin D, and like all sorts of like vitamins, and they start calling like naturopaths like basically quacks that don't know what they're talking about, and they had the whole vitamin war. I remember that too.
And I also remember in the first term of Obama's administration, he was going to fix all that. I remember hearing that he was going to stop. They weren't going to be things. They weren't going to do.
He talked about what did he run on? Closing down Gitmo.
That's a big one.
That place is still open.
Oh, it's still open. And like he was going to get rid of all the pharmaceutical advertisement. That was all going to go away. Yeah, that really worked out.
Yeah, that worked out real well.
Thanks,
for
big
everybody. Obama.
Something else about corruption. Bernzinski. That's a documentary that's disturbing as fuck.
Bernzinski.
I don't even know if you can still find it. But it was a documentary about this doctor who had a treatment for. I don't want to get you in any more trouble and get the FDA arc inside of me, because that's some people have been allegedly put to sleep. so to speak, for treating. But basically, he had a cancer treatment, and it showed some effectiveness, and it was all but like shut off despite like the effectiveness by like the American Cancer Association, the FDA.
Oh yeah, because they're not in the see the thing is that they're not in the business of curing people. They're in the business of keeping people sick so that they can keep selling them shit. That's the whole fucking point. It's been the point for a long time. This is why, like you said, Matt, like this is nothing new. And it's just really weird how everyone seems to have forgotten this. Like, it's like that everyone seems to have forgotten that the FDA and the CDC and all these weird big pharma people don't have your best interests at heart and have never really helped you out. Like when it comes to a lot of weird shit like cancer.
Yeah. I mean, like a big part of public service is to do your time, and then you get a big corporate payoff down the road. You get like a cushy, like that's the business. That's the way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's been like that forever.
Yeah, you need to be like a crusader to like stick it out, and you know what I mean. Fight the corporate. Like it's not how. Like it's just not. It's designed to empower them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So this article goes on to say NPR reports that during the period January 1st to August 31st, there were 1,143 IV telephone calls to poison control centers, which worked out to 143 calls per month. The Mississippi State Department of Health was careful to clarify that although telephone calls to poison control had increased, the vast majority of callers had only mild symptoms, and there were no hospitalization due to IV toxicity. If you're still left wondering whether there might have been a tiny grain of truth in these articles, consider what was reported in Utah. This alarmist article is entitled "The Utah Poison Control Center has seen a bump in calls about IV, which is not recommended for treating COOF." However, inside the article, you will notice the false alarm. The medical director of Utah Poison Control is quoted as admitting that it was only some small increase in IV phone calls and no one required hospitalization. Wow. Yet for the Utah alone, I counted at least 20 IV poison controls articles, and for the nation, the count was well into hundreds. At least one publication made the leap from exaggeration to fabrication. Rolling Stone magazine published an interview with an Oklahoma osteopathic physician, Dr. Jason M., who claimed the Northeast hospitalized system emergency departments were overrun with so many IV overdoses that gunshot victims were having difficulty getting treatment, Dr. M stated. The ERs are also backed up he said, this is in quotes, the ERs are so backed up that gunshot victims were having a hard time getting to facilities where they can get definitive care and be treated. Multiple networks repeated this story, and it went viral. He's putting links here again. But the report turned out to be false. Rolling Stone was forced to publish a retraction of sorts, a correction to the report, wherein they stated the truth of the matter was the opposite. Northeast Hospital System, Sequoia, informed them that Dr. Jason M., although affiliated with them, had not worked in the Salawa location for 2 months. Furthermore, in a statement issued September 5th, 2021, Northeastern Hospital System, Sequoia, reported that no patients had been treated for IV overdose. Indeed, no patients were treated for any complications while taking IV, and no gunshot wound patients or otherwise had been turned away from seeking emergency care. It was all untrue, and we were lied to. At one point, do we expect some sort of accountability for these journalists, or journalists, as Jeremy from The Quartering likes to call them, when it comes to this kind of stuff? Like, at what point do we expect some sort of accountability from our leaders to the media? Like, this is ridiculous. This is lie after lie of something that could potentially help people, and we're being completely just fucked over.
Yeah, just being smoke screened and gaslit. And it's like they do it in this really clever way where they'll print the retraction, right? So legally they're in the clear. However, the impact has already been made. You know what I mean? How many retractions in your life have you read? The only time I ever read a retraction is if it happens to come up in a story like this. I never see it on a news media. They don't tweet it out on CNN.com or whatever. You know, you never read the retraction. They never admit that they're wrong. So the impact happens. They say IV is bad, this, that, and the other. People hear that, and that's as far as they know. So then it becomes this widespread, what'd you call it? Informational something? What was
Informational propaganda. It was,
or whatever
said,
it was, propaganda flood or whatever. Like it was, and that's why
information flooding.
Yeah.
And that's why it works, because it's like that all that bullshit gets out there, people believe it, then they retract it, but then the damage is done.
The damage has already been done, and so many people that could have been helped are no longer helped because of something like this.
Yeah.
And it's really the weirdest part too is that the media keeps taking this insane stance of it not being proven to be beneficial. And it's the exact opposite. Like there's so many stories, not just Joe Rogan. Okay, Joe Rogan is not the first, and he won't be the last to have been helped by this drug, which is really interesting again too, because a lot of people who are claiming that, you know, people like us are like the unvaccinated and like that we're anti-vaccine and blah blah blah. This is a drug. It's not like we're not for medicine. Okay. We're not, right. It's not like we're not for medicine that's been proven to work, that has a history, and we know the long-term effects of this, and we know what happens even if you overdose on it and you barely die. Like there are certain things that we know about this drug now that you can take into accountability in your own brain and decide what is best for you, versus a jab that's just been released and you have no idea what the fuck is going on over there.
Plus, I'm super suspicious of all the pressure. That's the thing that makes me anxious. Is like when all these people are telling me to do it, that's when I'm like, I prickle. I'm like, no. Like,
no. The more they tell you, you're like, no, I don't want to do it.
But I mean, on top of it, it's like you said, the compelledness, the authoritarianness that you're going to destroy everyone's life for something that you can on paper say does not prevent the. Can I say that? I don't want that. Well, I was about to call Susan something else. She ain't my mom or my auntie. But
yourself?
No, I usually call Susan a stupid bitch for the channel.
That's fine.
I want to just get you in the smoke because everyone says Mama Susan. I'm like, fuck Mama Susan. She's just some dumb bitch that had a couple of nerds shit in their garage at the right time and is now the head of a major company. She's like a like right person, right place, right time. Anybody could have been Susan. She contributed nothing to the society. But the fact that they are literally. We showed on the Culture Crime Fighters this the girl in France getting their ass kicked by police. We know what's happening in Australia, and it's all over something that it's like, it's okay. I can't take this on face value. This is about control. This is an authoritarian move. This is why, hey, Alex Jones is going to be on FNT. This is some Alex Jones shit. This is something different.
This is definitely some Alex Jones shit right here.
And then the other thing that always is a red flag to me is it's also a completely unified stance from the people that constantly lie to me and gaslight me about the nature of the world and like race relations and like who's innocent and who's guilty. Like it's the same people always telling me this. So it's like I'm suspicious. I'm like I can't trust you because you're always saying the same shit that like I know is a lie. Why is this any different?
The next, see, and everyone's saying like, you know, well, what's next, you know, and I can tell you what's next. They're going to try this lockdown shit again, and they're going to do it again and again and again on anything. Like it doesn't have to even be the coof anymore. It could be like climate change. For the climate change, we're just going to shut everything down again because we realized that while we were locked down, in 2020, that all of our emissions went down. So if you want to be a good little human being, don't you? So we're going to shut everything down, and you're going to have to stay in your home for a couple months so that we can bring down the emissions. It's going to be like shit like that for forever now because
Yeah, that's
well,
the plan.
we've allowed it to happen because we've allowed it to happen, and they're going to keep doing it.
I was looking at the chat there, and Bruce Lombardo says that he was in the hospital for the coof, and like he kept trying to get a vaccine infomercial. And just for the sake of like a healthy conversation, did being in the hospital, Bruce, did that change your opinion on this whole thing? Like, do you come at it with a different perspective now? Because I feel like, as much as I'm like hardline against like authoritarianism and all this stuff, like I do try to keep a truly open mind, and there are times where I'm like, I don't want to die either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You
But
know?
that's the thing too, is like, self-preservation is a huge thing for humanity. So that's why this is a really strange time where if you have a disease where, you're claiming is a pandemic and you're claiming it's killing all these people, that you would think that a lot of people would be like, well, like, give me the vax, right? Or give me whatever to make this stop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you start actually looking into it and applying some logic, and you realize, okay, well, it's been a year now. We know the results. We know the age group. We know this. We know that. 99.8% survival rate. All this stuff, and then there's the jab for it, which doesn't stop you from getting it, and so on and so forth. What's my risk factor, right? Like, so everyone starts like weighing that risk factor, and then you realize, well, if I'm getting that, like if I have a 99.8% survival in my age bracket, for my weight, for my height, for my, sex, whatever, then why would I do this to myself? Like, why would I inject this shit into my veins?
And why can't I ask that question? That's the thing that gets me. I'm like, how come I'm not allowed to ask that? How come I'm not allowed to weigh the risk factors and then ask out loud? Is it something that maybe I shouldn't do? Because that's where my red flags, like, immediately. That's like where the hair on the back of my neck stands up. I'm like, no, wait a minute. If I can't ask a question, then there's a big problem.
Well, it's because we're in the People's Republic of the one world government, basically. That's why you're not supposed to ask a question. I mean, think about this. Nobody else, nobody else. There are so many normies who don't know the information you just said. There are so many normies right now to this day. I promise you on everything I love, think wearing a mask is supposed to protect them, which is not even what is claimed. Normies don't know. They don't know, and they don't get it.
It's true, and you know what? It's so really it's annoying too, because I've had conversations with my normie friends where I told them about IV like months and months ago, like way before this whole thing came out and way before all of this happened, and then they're coming out at me and being like, oh, did you hear Joe Rogan took like horse dewormer and like laughing about it and stuff? And I'm like, you mean the thing I told you about like 6 months ago? Like, and they're like, wait, was that the same thing? And I'm like, oh, like, it's like all this stuff that I tell people and it just like falls on deaf ears. And you're like, I don't like, and then you realize to yourself like why we are in the place that we're at, because it's like, sometimes it feels like such an uphill battle, because you're like, oh, could you pay attention at least like to what's going on? And
as Joker voice puts it, they're not even consistent. The my body, my choice.
Nah, man.
That doesn't go which way. And it's funny. I went to a bar the other day, and it was like one of those like stickers that keep your laws away from my body, but it had like all this feminist coloring and had that bisexual lighting too. I'm like, you know what? I agree with you, Miss Feminist. I guarantee you don't take it to the same extent. You just want it for an excuse to eugenically kill black people. All right, never mind. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, what?
No, every time I bring up abortion, I bring up the fact that 20 some odd million abortions of black kids have happened since Roe v. Wade, and there's only like 30 million of us, so it's basically being eugenics.
Wow, I didn't know about those statistics.
Isn't that an interesting like angle on the whole thing, where you're like, damn, like that actually does sound like
that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, a high amount of other races too, but it's just a percentage is so sky high. It's like
that's crazy.
I wanted to tell you, Nina, while someone just messaged me. So there's a link. It just came out like 2 hours ago, I think, or maybe just today. It's a article from News Channel 8 in looks like Florida. And they're claiming, this is the headline. It says, IV causes sterilization in 85% of men, study finds.
Oh my God.
Would you like me to send you this link?
Yeah, you can share it if you want.
Okay, because it does sound like that sounds like really like targeted anti-propaganda, right? Because it's like Joe Rogan's got this like very like loyal, widespread male audience. Like this sounds like a way to like get all them off the anyone who thought about it. Well, hey, you're gonna be sterilized if you do. So
Right. Yeah.
right. As I was like, I would love to read into this one.
I can't see it. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, give us the lowdown.
All right. It says the effects of IV therapy on human males can have an effect on men's reproductive health. Researchers at 3 universities in Nigeria studied the effects of IV, which is used to treat river blindness and other medical conditions on humans on men's sperm counts. According to their study, which is linked here, 85% of men who take IV become sterilized.
Is that true? We don't know.
I don't know, but nothing against Nigeria as a nation, but I don't know how much.
Racist, Matt.
I'm not being a racist. It's more just critical of the infrastructure. Like I mean, like wasn't there that woman who was like a African like doctor who said the hydrochloroquine was the solution, and then they were like, oh, but she's an African doctor, like she can't be taken seriously.
Yeah, sure did do that.
They did do that, right? So now suddenly we can take it seriously. It's like, well, which one is it?
But she was American, though, wasn't she?
I think she may have been. I couldn't tell. I couldn't.
But she was like from Nigeria.
Yeah, she was
well,
from Nigeria, I believe.
They say in this article, so now you just to clear it straight up, it says, bottom line, that the jab are the best way to combat the coof.
Of course.
Oh, well, thank God.
I wonder how much they got paid to say that.
Yeah, I won't have to think about this anymore. Thank God.
But you know what? You joke that's how this works. And I mean, I'm very guilty of only reading headlines and not really paying attention. So it's like that's what happens. You read a headline, you have a BS write up. And these local news channels are not to be trusted. You guys all saw that meme where all these news channels were saying the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Yes.
Supercut.
Yes.
We care, but I can't remember. It was something about misinformation, proving that they are the misinformation source, basically.
I mean,
and a comment about the nurse thing. Sorry. My sister is in the medical profession, and her medical system is willing to lose 30 to 40% of their staff over jab mandates, and they're already understaffed. So,
wow. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me because you see stuff like this as well that like comes out. And we are going to go back to the other article because there's a couple of other things that I wanted to.
This study is from. Oh no, okay. No, this study. It seems like this study is like 20 years old. Wait a second.
What? Really?
When was this published? I'm trying to think because it's referencing. Oh, it says Archives of Applied Science Research in 2011. That's what the head of this is. And then it's referencing all this science from like 2002. Okay, forgive me if I'm not going to put my faith in this mildly out of date medical study. Medical science updates like to the minute. And we're talking about like applying it for this. I think that this is missing.
What's your problem with 2002 Nigeria?
But that might be one of those things that other guy was talking about, though, right? Like the propaganda that's coming out about it.
Yeah, I think they just found one article, one medical research paper about this anywhere. They were scouring the internet to find it, and they're like, "Oh, we got it! Guess what?
Got it.
Yeah, that's what this is. Because
this is a smoking gun on IV. Like, let's do it. It's
2011. Done. I'm sorry, not buying it. Not getting.
But based on what you were saying, though, Vigilante Williamson and Stomp Rat, that post about the nurses. I saw that, but you also see stuff like this, like the COOF response disrupts fight against TB and AIDS may cause more deaths in some countries than the pandemic, Global Fund says. So this was like today, and the shift in healthcare resources to battling COOF has led to many people in poor countries going untreated for other diseases, portraying thousands of excess deaths, said the leading founder of tuberculosis and AIDS programs. And And the craziest thing is this is like, focusing on third world countries. This doesn't have to focus on third world countries because I read stuff like this about Canada, about the States, because during the lockdowns you had like people not being able to get dialysis, you had people not be able to get, cardiac surgery, you had people not be able to get all sorts of treatments, chemo, and what happened to those people? They died. That's basically what happened.
Good point.
Almost happened to my granddad. Like, he's in his 80s. He's in the age range that you would see most at risk. And he was scared of going to the hospital because he didn't want to catch the coof. And it turned out he had the coof. And it wasn't until they found out. I mean, he made it through. He's still here. Thank the Most High. But yeah, I can see that happen to a lot of people. And go ahead, Matt. I cut you off.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, this to me just sounds like when the Stop Asian Hate thing was going on and they turned out it was like a lot of black guys who were doing it. And then they're like, oh, that's because of white supremacy. Like this sounds like someone was like, hey, tuberculosis and AIDS kills way more people than COVID every year. And they're like, actually, it's COVID's fault that they kill more people because we'd save more people if there wasn't any COVID. So take your vaccine.
I know, right? It's just the craziest logic that, like, and they have to gaslight you and turn everything around at you. And you're just like, every time you're like, this is like, I'm almost bulletproof to it now though. Like, because I hear so much of it all the time and I'm well versed in, like, being able to reply back, but
in news jitsu.
Yes, exactly. But I can understand again how Vigilante was talking about normies. They don't understand, and this is like they immediately fall for it. And
I don't necessarily blame them though. Like, my parents grew up believing the news was telling them the truth, and like, why would you assume otherwise until you had like other media outlets? Until we have like the internet, it's almost no way for us to verify or check facts or anything like that. We just got to take their word for it. So like, if that was your worldview, why would you suddenly believe it's not the case?
Sorry, say that last word.
No, I'm just not the case. Like, I'm just saying, like, I understand why people want to trust the media.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that I've been raised not to trust the media anymore because of my own experiences. So that's why when like this whole thing started happening, immediately I was like, okay, I've never trusted the government. I never trusted the media. I don't trust anything that's happening now. And it just, like, I went into it with distrust already because I was already disillusioned just because of stuff that's happened in the past, like 9/11 and like all that stuff that they're probably going to be talking about on FNT, like JFK assassination and all that other kind of stuff. Like
right now with Shang-Chi, they're trying to tell us it's like the most successful Marvel movie of all time. It's like, I can prove numerically it isn't.
Yeah, it's not.
So why should I believe you about fucking COVID? Like, why? Why? Like, you right here's a lie. Why would I trust you? You're full of shit.
Why would I trust you? I know. I'm like the same way, Matt. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I'm like, it's at least really satisfying to hear other people think the same way. Like, at least we have this little community or fellowship or whatever you want to call it, that I've found certain people that think like me. And it's actually really refreshing to have those kind of conversations and being able to do that freely still on YouTube.
For as long as we can.
Let's see for how much longer. Like, well, I mean, I've always told, they're going to have to drag me away from this place because this is where the fight's at. John told me that too. John Talks. He was like, this is where the fight is at because, we talk about other platforms and everything like that. And that's great to have a backup. But right here, right now, YouTube is where the fight is at because this is the biggest platform. This is where everyone's conglomerating, including the opposition. This is where they're pumping out their information, and we have to hold the line.
Not wrong.
So I'm gonna go back to this article just for a few more minutes.
Oh, please.
Because I'm not gonna read the whole thing, so I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. Again, the article is linked in the description, so if you're interested, I highly recommend everybody to read this themselves. But he even talks about like graphs and different things like that show like how accurately the charts use are about like Google searches for ivermectin and like basically showing the different, like why it's being used right now to pump out all this information now versus before, because it's being searched more than ever. So then he goes into NPR writes, poison control centers are seeing dramatic surges in calls from people who self-medicating with IV and anti-parasite drug for animals. On the contrary, IV is used every day for scabies and is not confined to animals any more than penicillin is purely an animal antibiotic. We are asked to believe that 6 telephone calls to poison control about IV are somehow newsworthy, yet over 100,000 calls to poison control on Tylenol each year are not. Moreover, no one dies of IV in a typical year, yet Tylenol accounts for 56,000 annual emergency room visits and 2,600 hospitalization, almost 500 deaths. So this is what I was talking about, Vigilante, because as you brought up Tylenol earlier.
Yeah.
So that goes on to say the fact that IV is so much safer than over-the-counter Tylenol makes you wonder why exactly these articles made the news. The reason is simple. Pfizer and Merrick are getting ready to launch expensive new antiviral pills that can provide early outpatient treatment for COOF and perhaps even be used preventatively. Yet IV remains effective, cheap, and safe, and thus poses a huge threat to their profits. And that's basically the nuts and bolts of it right here.
Does he get into like its effectiveness fighting the COOF?
Yes, I believe he does. So what profits? He gets into the profit things, and then he gets into.
Far, he's made a great argument arguing why they would not want it. Like why they would like put all this information out there. But so far, I haven't heard him like prove that it's effective, because I don't know.
I think he gets into that as well. There was another.
I looked up earlier. I guess he put out a book like last year about this. Called IV, The World Needs It, or something like that. Because
I just found this article today. That's why I'm like, oh.
Because it's Dr. What's his name? Dr. Pierre
Justice
Corey,
Hope,
right?
or something like that.
No, this guy's name is Justice R. Hope. Pierre Corey's the guy that posted this, and he was the other doctor that Joe Rogan had on his podcast. This is the guy. His name is Pierre Corey, and he has written a book as well.
No, Justice Hope put out the book.
There you go.
Justice R. Hope for MD said IV for the world.
Oh, okay.
And it came out in June.
Yeah, I haven't read that book. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's basically just making an argument for it to, do what he's saying it does. Did you see how I nimbly walked around that?
Yes, I did. Let me see here, because I don't think this one gets into too much more about that. Like there's other stuff about profit and what's going to happen with the the profit of these companies that are doing this. Let's see. He goes on to say this. The story of IV, thankfully, is quite the opposite of remdesivir's abject failure. IV has been a resounding success. It not only worked in the lab, it spectacularly reduced death in the living, and it worked early in diseases and late in the disease, often rescuing patients from ventilators and the jaw of death. It even performed before the infection began by effectively preventing it and nicely stopping viral transmission, and it was safe without serious adverse effects. In short, God himself could not have given us a better tool to eradicate this disease. Damn. We have now 63 and counting studies involving some 26,000 patients, showing up to 96% reduction in death association with IV.
Wow.
We have many peer-reviewed medical journals publications showing significant numbers of mortality associated with IV use. The meta-analysis are considered the highest form of medical evidence and even outweigh the randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trial. Thus, the meta-analysis is regarded as the holy grail of medical research. We have 2 influential such publications authorized by Dr. Trez Lawire and Andrew Hill, British WHO consultants, both strongly show IV reduces death in COVID-19. Again, this article is in the description. Please, everybody, read it. At least
read it,
get into it and study it for yourself. Decide for yourself what's best for you. I just wanted to break the narrative on it because I'm sick and tired of seeing people being like, "Oh my god, people are taking like horse tranquilizers now," and I'm like, dude, that's not what's happening. This is a legit drug. It won a Nobel Prize in 2015. We're talking about legit medication here. We're talking about something that could possibly save lives. And people are just dismissing it as if it's nothing. There was another crazy thing that actually came out last week about it, which was this story. It says Ohio judge reverses decision and rules that a hospital can't be forced to use IV to treat a patient with COVID-19. So this person, this lady, she asked the judge, the original judge, to rule in favor of treating her husband. So it goes, the story goes like this. A judge ruled Monday that an Ohio hospital can't be forced to give patients IV to treat COOF, reported several outlets. The ruling reverses an order another judge passed in August that sided with the patient's wife who wanted her husband to be administered with the deworming drug. Hamilton,
do you like how they put that? You like how they framed
like it? You like that? Yeah.
Very nice.
You
Keep
like
the
that right there?
propaganda strong. Keep it
Yeah.
strong.
You got to keep that narrative because this is going to be really interesting because once you get to the end of this article, you're actually going to laugh. Hamilton County Common Plea Judge Michael Oster J. wrote his September 6th decision that the medical and scientific communities do not support the use of IV as a treatment for COVID-19 per NBC News. This is a crock of shit. We just read an entire article basically of a doctor and several doctors that do advocate for the use of IV treatment. Oster cited advisories from the centers of the CDC and the FDA, which warned that IV is not proven to treat COOF and can have serious side effects. This is obviously they're going to do this because of what we just talked about with their own drug coming out with Pfizer and everything like that. But actually, Fauci used to talk about ivermectin all the time when it came to other stuff. Before the COOF, he was advocating for IV a lot when it comes to like river blindness and all sorts of other stuff. In fact, the CDC has ivermectin put on their website as like one of the top 20 drugs of all time to help people. I think it was like top 200 or something like that. While this court is sympathetic to the plaintiff and understands the idea of wanting to do anything to help her loved one.
Wait a second. Sorry. What year did you say it won a Nobel Prize? 2015.
So
that is 4 years after that study that they're quoting gives infertility or gives sterilization.
Okay.
So did something dramatically change in 4 years, or is that study completely out of date and not to be trusted?
I have no idea.
I think it's probably the friggin' latter.
Yeah, probably the latter. I would.
It's like,
do.
Yeah, wait a minute. No, in none of these articles have they mentioned it won a Nobel Prize.
No, it's a deworming drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deworming drug.
It's a deworming drug.
It's just the idea that like it wouldn't be mentioned.
It's a horse dewormer. Stop going to the vet for your COVID-19 treatment. Sorry.
Jesus, this shit is really evil. Like never, like anyone. Yeah, I know a lot of us can get numb to mainstream media bullshit, but never get numb. What's up?
Oh, wait a second. Is that Nobel Prize might be bullshit, eh?
Oh,
I don't know. I Googled it.
Okay.
I'm not sure because it's right here in the Washington Post. So it's like, okay, he's addressing it. It's a quote is attributed to University professor William Campbell, circulated on social media.
Did you
Camp-
see the video of Alex Jones taking IV on live on air?
Okay.
And
Not.
he went nuts. Did you guys see that? Dropped
No.
last
No.
week.
I didn't.
Oh man, I would play that right now, but my channel would get taken down so fast.
Yeah, we've already been taken out once today.
I know. And Alex Jones is like, that is definitely one person you can't really show videos about.
Wait, I can't tell what the truth is right now. This is actually quite difficult to
Pin down what that
Mhm.
that
Try DuckDuckGo because Google does the misinformation,
Oh yeah, that does.
Stuff.
Okay.
so they'll hide stuff. Yeah, as Shadow War Child is already ahead of me saying the same thing using that search engine. Real quick while I'm doing this, I saw Elvis and Ibrahimovic. I always mess up his name. It's just good to see him. It's been a while.
Hey, what
He
up,
said something
Elvis?
about The Expanse to you, man. I just noticed him. Oh man, I haven't seen him forever.
Oh
Good to
hell,
see
brother.
him.
Didn't see that.
hello. Good to see you, Elvis.
There you go.
Yeah,
Will consist of only what?
there you go.
Are you serious? That's
That's
by the way, that's a great title for a video.
I hate that The Expanse season 6 will consist of only 6 episodes. That sounds
GOT
awful.
in space, indeed. That's a terrific title for a video, dude. Should
GOT
I buy
in
that off
space.
of you? That's
There you go.
that's amazing. Wait, no way, really?
Keely, I
Ah.
know Alex Jones is going to be on FNT this Friday night. I am very excited to watch FNT this Friday night. It's going to be an interesting one.
I need to look into this. Oh no, that's bad.
What happened?
If he's right, if there's only 6 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you find anything about the Iverson? The IV.
The IV?
I got distracted. I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
How
I know.
dare you?
I know.
IV Nobel Prize.
All right, so
How dare you?
well, you know what? It says how was that? What's her name?
Yeah,
She's
Greta.
great.
it was Greta. I Greta'd you.
Oh, you know what? According to Science Direct, and this is an article from 2015, it says yes. IV, a multifaceted drug of Nobel Prize honor, distinction, and indicated efficacy against the new global scourge, the COOF. Wait, when was this? No, this can't be 2015. No, that's 2021. Okay. No, that still doesn't help. This is just another book. I can't tell. It says the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the thing and anti-malarial treatment was the Nobel's committee to first. Yeah, I think it is.
Pretty sure.
I mean, DuckDuckGo, I think, immediately gave me some real answers.
There you go. Man, I gotta start using not Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, I'm gonna keep going with this story because this is crazy.
Okay.
It reads, while this court is sympathetic to the plaintiff, this judge, by the way, I have some choice words for this judge. While this court is sympathetic to the plaintiff and understands the idea of wanting to do anything to help her loved one, public policy should not and does not support allowing physicians to try any type of treatment on human beings, he said. He added that the court was not deciding if IV will ultimately be effective or useful as COOF treatment per the Ohio Capitol Journal. However, based upon the evidence, it has not been shown to be effective at this juncture. Where have you looked? Because there are many peer study reviews that are showing that it is working, especially in other countries. The studies that tend to give support to IV have had inconsistent results. Limitations to studies were open label studies, were a low quality or low certainty, including small sample sizes, various dosing regimens, or have been so riddled with issues that the study was withdrawn, Oster said. The patient involved in the case, Jeffrey Smith, 51, contracted COOF early July. His wife, Julie Smith, asked the court on August 20th for an emergency order to have IV prescribed to her husband. Both the Smiths are unvaccinated against COOF,
Of
testified.
course, those damn anti-vaxxers.
They have to let everyone know that. that these guys are anti-vaxxers or whatever. In her testimony, Smith said that vaccines are experimental and that she didn't trust them. She has every right
Love the
to have that opinion.
experimental in quotes. They are.
They
It's
are.
not a
It wasn't even
fucking-
FDA approved at the time of this article. On August 23rd, Butler County Judge Greg Howard ordered Westchester Hospital to honor Julie Smith's request for IV to be given to her husband, who is on a ventilator and remains in the ICU. Howard ruled that 30 milligrams of IV be administered to Smith every day for 3 weeks by Dr. Fred Washkuhl, a licensed physician from Dayton, Ohio. Washkuhl, who is not board certified, confounded a nonprofit called Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, which advocates for the use of IV and COVID-19 treatment. That's the Frontline guys are the ones that Dr. Corey and Dr. Jesus was part of.
Well, let me tell you real quick. Sorry to cut you off, D. I Googled, I finally found a source I actually trust that says it's true that it did win a Nobel Prize.
Well, there you go.
It says Snopes, because if it didn't, Snopes would be all over this because they are woke. So they actually says it's true. However, they do let us know that winning the Nobel Prize does not impact a drug's ability to treat the coof. I like how they managed to put that in there as if that's relevant at all.
Yeah.
And then also what they quoted tweet, it's from the US FDA. This is from the FDA itself. It says, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it."
Yeah, I saw that tweet that
Wow.
they tweeted out.
The Food
fucking
and
went nuts.
Drug Administration says
You're
seriously,
also not a yoga
y'all.
mat, but enjoy. It's not
Seriously,
just blueberry
y'all.
muffins. There's a lot
The
of stuff there.
FDA.
Seriously.
I don't want the FDA to have hip vernacular. I don't want them to sound cool and with it. Like that sounds like someone who's like a huge fan of Cardi B.
Well,
Eesh.
I don't know about that.
They probably
Just the
are.
way it just sounds like one of those, you know what I mean? Like one of those Twitter snaps.
Yeah,
Well, it's probably
totally.
some like middle-aged, but you know what I mean, who just like wants to sound hip.
Right,
Who
that's
spends
what I
too
mean.
much time on Twitter. But yeah, I know what you mean.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. That's horrifying coming from like the FDA.
The FDA? Yeah. It
Got,
is
like-
run by children, apparently.
Oof.
200 Watt Studios. Thank you so much for the $2. Says Nina looking glowing in orange. Thank you. I guess I'm glowing
wrong with being
orange.
orange. It's a great color. It's one of the best colors in
It's
the
a
world.
great color.
It's my favorite.
Speaking
color.
of
Lots of
random
people are
colors,
saying it. Sorry.
how come your mic is red? I've been like noticing like you have the
I'm
glowing.
curious,
Like
too.
is that the mic itself?
Yeah.
Or is that like a light? you
It's
added?
well, if I turn it off,
Meow.
it just
Oh,
it
man.
turns it turns on. There's another version of it that changes colors as well. I just got the red one because I was cheap.
Oh, man, that's really cool.
It does
Yeah.
look sharp. It's a good look.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I do
I think
understand that.
X-Ray Girl has the same mic as
Wow.
me, and I know that Krista Nova has the same mic too, but hers is the one that changes colors.
It changes colors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right on.
So this article goes on. By the time Oster's ruling came in, Smith had already been given 13 days of ivermectin doses, and the hospital is set to take him off the ventilator. Said
They literally proved the opposite point by that, right?
they literally proved the opposite point. They were like, before they got the ruling in, they had already done it, and the guy survived, and they took him off the ventilator. So I don't understand. So they're like, Julie won this case. I don't care what the judge says Largo. We are believers. He's going to survive because of IV. This is what they said. And this is the
article
most insane
disproving it?
story to me.
I don't understand.
So but of course it's buried in the league. The point is you'll never read that. The normal person will never read that sentence in this paragraph where it's actually proven that it at least had some help, right? Because in 13 days, because they said he had contracted in July and it was like August something. So it was a long period of him not having had any IV. And then 13 days after a regular dosage, he's better.
Yes,
So,
August 20th.
Yeah, so that's objectively proving that this has some sort of impact. It
Yes.
had to have.
I mean, this guy would have probably been dead. This person would have probably been dead if they didn't give him the IV, because most people on the ventilator are basically on their deathbed.
Yeah.
It's
so
this is
so
crazy.
they're like, here's a miracle example of how this saves someone's life. Don't take it.
Yeah. This is exactly what they're saying.
What?
And this is what Joe has been saying. Joe is like, listen, I saved myself by not just using IV, by the way, by using all this different, all these different alternatives. And I'm fine. 3 days later, I'm fine. He had a very mild situation going on and he was fine. And he's saying, one of the things I use is this, and everyone and their mom is jumping down his throat. Like, basically, you're giving medical. It's like as if he's the devil and he's giving medical malpractice to people. Like, you guys should put fucking horse tranquilizers in your body or some shit. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing that you could ever.
Yeah, this is pretty nuts. It's like really weird how hard they're going out of their way to make sure like it's like completely diffused that any potential but it's weird because like you mentioned earlier, like the Streisand effect, I think this is going to have more of the Streisand effect.
Well, I hope it does for IV, and people actually start being like, hey, maybe we should look into this more. That's why I'm doing this show, because I want people to understand that they're being lied to. They're being lied to, and at least consider alternatives. Like, just like you don't go to one source for, even your pop culture news, right? Like, we watch so many different channels. We watch you guys, we watch Neurotic, we watch As, we watch The Quartering, we watch just so many different varieties of people.
More people watch all those other channels than us, but I appreciate being mentioned amongst
Well, everybody.
I know what you mean. You're right.
Everybody has a different flavor and everybody brings something to the table, right? Like, we have to expand ourselves to be willing to look at other things, and actually consider it, like truthfully consider it, instead of just being like, well, I'm just going to jab myself and get it over. Like, I don't know.
I think it really is mostly fear, though. I think it just comes out of mostly people are just afraid and they want everything to get back to normal. And so they just, all right, if I just do this thing and like, we'll just get it
might
done.
go away. Yeah.
And then it becomes kind of like the thing when, when we had to get rid of the orange man and people would put the I voted thing in their social media. And it was like, anyone who like has an I voted sticker, we know exactly what you mean. We know what was implied by that. And so it's like the same kind of thing. They're like, I got the vax. I'm ahead of things. Like, scare people into complying and then give them credit, like give them like social bonus points when they do.
Dude, when I saw when they were like doing like vax selfies, I was like, I just wanted to like, I was like, what the frig? Like, it's the most cringe shit I've ever seen in my life. I was like, all these weird celebrities are going and being like, look at me getting the jab. And I'm like, dude.
It's totally in line with them, though. It's all because it's all virtue signaling, and it's like their entire life is activism. And so that's just one more step in their little journey of, trying to make the world a better place. Like that's par for the course. It's not even surprising. You're just like, yep. That's
what. Yeah, 100%. There was another bit of shocking news it was very shocking. That came out about Koof last week, and I was like, good Lord, when I saw this. Actually, this was sent to me by a viewer of mine, Curtis D of Montana. So thank you so much, Curtis, for sending me this. Las Vegas elementary teacher tapes mask to fourth grader's face. This was messed up, and there's been a police report on it and everything now. Let's watch this because I don't have to read.
Okay.
Mom of a 9-year-old boy is demanding his substitute teacher be fired after she says that a teacher taped a face mask to her son's face when he did not wear it properly in the classroom. She spoke to us under the condition that we not use her name or show her face, worried her son could be further traumatized at school, but wanting other parents to know what is happening in one fourth grade classroom.
I was furious. I was scared for my son on what kind of like long-term effect it's going to have on him socially. The fact that the entire class was laughing.
This mom of a 4th grade student at Reedham Elementary in Mountain's Edge says his substitute teacher stepped way over the line when the 9-year-old failed to properly wear his mask in class.
He went to get a sip of water, forgot to put the mask on. Teacher then did not tell him to put it back on or send him to the office. She instead pulled him up in the front of the classroom in front of all of the students, and she then taped the mask across the top of his face.
The mom says the sub added a second layer of tape from his nose to his forehead, and with tape still on his face, he went to the office to pick up homework he'd forgotten at home, and his dad dropped off.
When he went to the office to pick up that homework is when one of the administrators noticed the tape on his face.
Alarmed, that administrator took the tape off of the child and alerted the principal, who went to the classroom to investigate, filling out this report.
And she saw another student who she thought was my son with tape on their face as well.
This mom later asked her son, had other students also had their masks taped to their face? He said yes. It's been happening in his classroom since the beginning of the school year.
He says that he remembers up to 5.
This mom says
Jeez.
it's not a political
That's
issue.
messed up.
She has no problem with the mask mandate, but says 9-year-olds like her son are often forgetful and should never be punished, purposefully embarrassed in this way.
He was very upset. He was crying. He was humiliated.
Fox
See,
5
I already have a problem with this though. When she's like, the mom's like, I don't have a problem with the mask mandate. Meanwhile, your kid's getting abused in school because you don't have a problem with the mask mandate.
Exactly.
I was actually thinking the opposite. I thought strategically it was a very smart thing to do because the first thing that everyone's going to say is, oh, she's just an anti-maxer. She probably voted for Trump. She's probably
That's
so they
true,
would just
too.
write her right off.
Unfortunately, you're right.
So if she's just like, I don't have a problem with it, I think it's terrific. But it's just like, you can't do this to my 9-year-old. That story will break through more lines because
That's
there'll be
true too.
more people who will hear it because they won't hear her as an anti-vaxxer or whatever the stupid label they want to put on.
Yeah, like anti-masker and anti-vaxxer and blah blah blah. You're right. You're
Which
right.
I'm not a pro-masker, but if you go back, the
Oops.
reporter didn't have her mask on properly. Right there's one scene where you can basically see her nostrils.
Oh,
It
you
moves up and
could?
down.
How dare
Yeah.
she? I can only see the back of her head. How are you seeing this?
No, the reporter. The
Maybe this
blonde
really
lady.
is just getting us one step closer to where
This is the reporter.
I thought the other one was the reporter. I think the one in
No,
the
no.
mask was the reporter.
No,
No.
the one in the mask. Yeah, that's the reporter.
Yeah, the one in the mask, same lady. That
This
was,
is not the reporter, is it?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Oh, I thought this was the. Okay, never mind.
No.
I'm fucking up.
because
You're
they're
right.
hiding her identity.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
still see
right.
her- I don't
Okay.
know where- Yeah.
All right, I see what you're
There's a part
saying.
where her nose looks like it's
Oh, so like her. Oh, you're saying that the reporter is not wearing the mask right either.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It
I
was
was just
just
wondering
It's
if,
on her
like,
nose.
There was
Yeah.
one part where it kind of peaked up.
Don't you
See right there,
impugn
you
this?
can see it.
Don't you
Oh
impugn-
my God, it's
Yeah,
got a
see that
little bit
nostril?
of a peak.
That's she's not doing it right.
Oh my God, it's
Get
like,
her.
but the holes of the nose are covered. Isn't that good?
That-
I don't know.
That's not. Hey, they will
How
yell
dare
at her for
she?
that. She
How
can get
dare
that damn mask taped to her. Sorry if I'm too loud. What the hell?
She could get
Yeah.
fired. No, I'm just joking. Here we go.
Jesus.
mandate,
Super
but
loud.
says 9-year-olds like her son are often forgetful and should never be punished, purposefully embarrassed in this way.
He was very upset. He was crying. He was humiliated.
Poor kid.
Fox
I feel
5
so bad
questioned
for
the
him.
school district about this incident. They responded, quote, "The district is aware of the isolated incident and is dealing with the employee through the proper
Isolated incident.
channels." The principal proactively notified the family of the investigation. But that's not good enough for this mom.
I don't think this woman has any business teaching children, for one.
Agree.
Number two,
Neither
I
do
think
most teachers.
parents
Unfortunately.
need to know what's going on in the classrooms. It's crazy. Corporal punishment in school should not be happening.
No
And the
shit.
mom also filed a police report about the teacher putting her hands on the student. She's also now looking at changing schools or possibly moving to a charter school.
She should.
She's probably she's probably based like you. She's probably just like, this was the last straw. And
Oh, yeah.
just she's pretending she isn't just to be strategic, but she's trying to make it big a stink as possible, and making a police report, threatening to move. Like, I think she's like really just, doesn't
Good
want
for
this.
her. I mean, I hope
agree.
she does. You need to. When it comes to your kids, I mean, first of all, I would be pulling my kids out of school like ASAP, because this is not the time to be going to public school.
No.
Where you have like freaking radicals as school teachers and people like this, like, taping fucking masks to your kid's mouth. That's the last freaking straw for sure. For someone like me, I'd be like, hell no.
I'll give the school credit though, because the administrator was the one who spotted it and was like, "What?"
That's true.
Like, what
That's
is
true.
this? And the principal's like, "Hey, so did you tape a mask to a kid's face?" Like,
yeah, that is
crazy.
true. That's true. But then again, you see stuff like this, and it just the teachers union, man. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So evil.
Why are they such psychos? I don't get it.
I don't know, because my mom's in the teachers union, and it's always been like a really good thing for her personally. Like, we've always had excellent like health insurance and stuff like that. But then I watched this documentary. They renamed it. I forgot what it's called, but it was like the Soprano State, and it was about the NGAA, the New Jersey's like Education Association, and like how like unbelievably corrupt it is, and all these different reasons. Like, just like administrative things, like having way too many districts and having way too many superintendents and all these people making like so much money they shouldn't be making. But then it was things like there was a teacher who was openly watching pornography in class.
What the frig?
Yeah. But it gets worse because the person, I'm not sure if it was a he or she, I imagine it's a he, but this person did not get fired. This person did not get fired for like 2 more or 3 more years, because the union kept shifting the person around because of how protected they are.
That's what they do. And they do a lot worse than that. Like a lot of, and it's not just the New Jersey, it's a lot of these teachers unions, a lot of these teachers organizations. They have protected, what's the best way to say it? People who like cuties. That's probably the best way to say it.
Damn.
So, yeah. And not only that, I mean, I'm very anti-education system right now, because every week there's a new story. You talked about the radical teacher. Certain places are getting rid of reading and math requirements. Fucking, I'll never forget the damn state or the city of Baltimore, one of the most expensive school systems in America, if you're wondering. And a school where the kid with a 0.143 GPA. And he's like the middle of his class. And it's like, the education system has no interest in educating your kid. It only has interest in using your kid as a way of using your kid for indoctrination and as a way of getting money from the state. That's all your kid is for the education system. So
yeah, it's a messed up thing, man, and it's something that's yeah, I don't know. It would freak me out, like, to have kids and have to put them through a public school system. I personally, if it was something that I, was going to do, I'd be interrogating the educators.
I did a show actually on breaking the narrative about the education situation going on right now, with regards to everything that's going on with COVID and with regards to everything that's going on with indoctrinating children into having a certain mentality, especially now. Actually, speaking of the devil, Teresa was part of that live stream, and it was a really good one. And we were talking about how, like, we need to get kids out of school right now. Like, we need to, if you are able to, there's alternatives, and you should homeschool, or like you should, consider charter schools, or like anything else really, even like having tutors teach several different kids in different families and everything like that, getting together and making your own kind of like tutor mentorship or whatever that you need to do to get your kids educated, but at the same time away from public schools. It is probably your best bet right now if you can. I don't know. It was a good show. It was a good show. So if you're interested, definitely check that out.
I like that concept. I think that's an interesting, like, new angle on it, instead of, because I mean, it's like homeschooling. While it sounds like, well, it's not going to be the indoctrination. It's like, man, I hope one of those parents has got a lot of extra time
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's one of the things is like, and not all parents are teacher. Teaching is a skill.
Yeah,
Teaching
it
is a
is.
very, very it's a skill that you have to continuously work on as well. Like you're always a student, you're forever student yourself, even when you are a teacher. And if you don't improve yourself, you're just gonna like become a shitty teacher, and then you're not even gonna teach kids the way that you want to anyways. So it's just like it's just really good to get more information when it comes to like different methods of teaching, because again, not all parents are able to be teachers for their kids. It's a skill, and not all parents are able to do that, which is understandable. That's why they send their kids to school.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately,
and it's like there's also supposed to be all these other advantages to it too, right? Where it socializes you, it kind of helps you like work with your peers and
disagree.
problem solve. That's what it's supposed to
I
do.
know
So
what
it's
you're saying.
for most
Mhm.
parents, it makes sense. It's the kind of thing where it's like, and now we got most families are 2 income. It's a big.
Hmm.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I did not mean to cut you off. I was trying
No,
to.
I'm just saying it's a big thing. It's a big, that's a big burden.
It
It's
is.
an incredible burden, and but like the socializing thing. Fucking socialist. No, the socializing thing is like, well, public school didn't exist 200 years ago. Back on through all of history, there were schools, there was education things, but like as we have it now, a lot of people learned just like if their parents had books, if they could even read, because literacy wasn't even a thing. But it's like human beings were able to build pyramids without the public school system. Like you don't necessarily need especially this current education system to function. And it's like homeschooling is an impossible job. I wouldn't wish it on anyone because of how hard it is and losing an income.
Mhm.
But charter schools are interesting. Joker's Voice is saying that charter schools in Vegas have a 2-year waiting list
Wow.
just to get in the lottery for charter schools. And a lot of that is because there's so much restriction of charter schools even existing.
Mhm.
And there's so much like misinformation about charter schools. I know Matt like listens to a lot of Thomas Sowell. There's a Thomas Sowell book. Jesus. Was it next week? Yeah, it is next week. What is it called? All right, cool. Charter schools and their enemy is actually the only one that I actually read because the other ones I haven't I need to read and probably listen to. But it talks about a lot of things about how there's so many opponents of charter schools and how charter schools disprove a lot of narratives in regards to like even income and
Mhm.
education and test scores and stuff. Is a really interesting read. But you can see that charter schools have an objectively the test scores in charter schools are objectively higher,
Mhm.
at least according to the New York, because he just used the New York State information. But their charter schools are objectively higher than every public school. The one charter school system he found that was in a poorer neighborhood in the city of New York, and they are objectively better test results than every public school in the state of New York.
Well, there's a
Wow.
rigidity to public schools, right? That's impossible to break. You're stuck with the books that you can't argue, you can't debate. You have to go with those books. You're stuck with the class structure. You're stuck with the classes, and there's no way to like. And it's like the system is increasingly less effective, especially for boys, and it becomes this thing where it's like you really are truly indoctrinated, and you don't like, it's almost when you leave, at least a lot of people, myself included, when you leave, you have this negative relationship with learning.
Yes. That
Yeah,
happened to me.
Yeah, it happens with a lot of people because it's like you
Mhm.
don't want to learn. Learning's a burden, it's a chore, it's stressful, it's work, you're wrong. And then it's not the kind of thing when but now in my life, when I learn things, I'm like, oh, that's so fascinating, and I want to learn more. And I
Yeah.
take the time to educate myself or talk to someone that is an expert in that particular thing. It's a fascinating experience. So
Yeah.
it's like that's our education system. It's destroying the desire to learn. Yeah, maybe there's an issue.
I think what's weird is I actually think it's kind of like a Machiavellian tactic in itself. Because if you keep people not wanting to learn and keep
Mhm.
people stupid, right? And keep people not educated, that it's so easy to basically manipulate those people then. So I think it's kind of like this Machiavellian tactic to destroy the education system so that you get more stupider people, basically, because then people don't want to go to school. And then, on the side of that, you're destroying the economy. So the promise of coming out of school and having a degree and like all this stuff, it doesn't even get you a job anymore. So you're not even getting that anymore. So people don't really even if they wanted to go to school, they'll be like, well, what for? Because I'm going to just get into debt and then not even get a job to pay it off.
It's almost like they're gearing the entire economy so that you spend all this money on loans to go to this indoctrination camp. It's almost like that.
Yeah, and then just kind of get trapped in there, never and get in the
shackle
system.
Yourself the second you leave.
To shackle yourself. That's exactly it. Very well put.
You become this completely ineffective person that relies on the government. Isn't that interesting? And now we have a generation. I mentioned the word Freudianly, but a generation of socialists. That's
yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's like we were talking about this with comics earlier. And it's like I think a lot of these people, they can be saved. We can save them. But I mean, honestly, because the thing was a big turning point for me was when I started asking myself what I really thought about particular things. And there was like a fear reaction, because I had been beaten into believing what they told me to believe. And so I think if you took a lot of people and you really did have them think about it, like, what do you think? Not like, what were you taught? If you could somehow get around, you could hurdle all the SJW walls and barriers that were up. I do think a lot less people would be as empathetic, would have a little more complex ideas about a lot of this stuff if they gave themselves the chance to think about it, if they were encouraged to do it. I don't think the system does. So it's like we're stuck with the situation we have.
By the way, did you guys see because how that radical dude that was a teacher that Project Veritas kind of exposed? Did you see did you see they were fired and then that the dad went to the school board and rip him a new one? Did you guys see that?
Is that the British guy?
No, I don't know if was he British? I don't remember that.
Okay, I actually covered on my channel that story and saw a bunch of parents that went to the school board.
Yeah.
It was a tons and tons of parents because we talked about it, and we talked about how come they didn't know sooner, as much as they are hyped now. But if Project Veritas didn't do that, they would never know their kids are being taught by this literal Antifa communist who said, I have 180 days to revolutionize these kids.
Damn.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
That's exactly what it is. I'm trying to find that video because I know I posted it on.
Hats off to the parents and stuff like that who go
there
down,
it is. I found it.
Who go to these open whatever they are, the meetings, the PTA meetings or whatever the hell it is, and they get after the school board.
Yeah,
that's ballsy, man. Because it's your kid's life and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's like then you just become a target.
Yeah,
you do. But I mean, at some point, you got to say something. Because if you don't,
that's what I'm saying. Respect for doing it because you're risking. Yeah, there's risk involved there.
Yeah,
there is. So this is the dad I'm talking about. He went to the school board about that guy, about the Antifa dude, and this is what he had to say.
My name is Christopher Orr, and you guys fired Gabriel Geip today because y'all got caught yesterday. Okay, as people have mentioned, this guy had an Antifa flag on his wall. He had Chairman Mao on his wall. He was indoctrinating these kids every single day. He was abusing them, scaring them every single day. Where the hell was the principal? Where were the vice principals? Where was the other faculty at this school?
Exactly.
Where was the superintendent? Where was the rest of the district?
Where was everybody?
He was fired today. Why wasn't he fired a year ago? Why wasn't he fired 2 years ago? Why did this go on for so long? Why are you only doing anything about it now? Because you got caught.
Got caught.
Okay, and you guys, you're going to be held accountable. This is because of you. Okay, Gabriel Geip is a symptom, not the sickness. The sickness is in the district.
Well put.
It's in the school. It's everywhere.
Nice.
People are sick of it. We're aware of it. We know what's going on, especially now, and we know what you're doing, and we're not going to let this go. You can't just fire this one guy and then just call it quits, and it's done. It's not done. you're going to have to do something about this. We want the policy of the schools, the written policy change. We want you to follow the rules you're already supposed to be following. We want an investigation, as other people have mentioned. We need to investigation of this, a criminal investigation
Yes.
by an unbiased third party, not an internal investigation where you guys will let yourselves off the hook. Okay? You have to be held accountable. Now, you could get ahead of this. You could do something about it. You can actually care about what the people in your community and the parents of these students that you're supposed to be taking care of, what they have said and what they care about, what they want, what the law-abiding citizens of this country and this community want, or you can just double down and hide. It's not going to work because we'll be back. We'll be back. We're here today. We'll be here next week. We'll be at every freaking board meeting that you guys have. Okay? You have to do something. Do something now.
There you go.
Hope he's willing to follow through with that because he's gonna have to, because they are planning on hiding. They're planning on this will blow over and we'll go back to doing whatever, because part of the reason a guy like that gets there is because they kind of agree with him.
They let him.
They agree with him. Exactly.
They
right.
knew, man. There's no way they didn't know. I mean, well, what the hell were they doing in that school? The guy had a picture of Mao on his wall. I mean, come on now.
Unbelievable. One of the biggest mass murderers in history.
Unless you're telling me that the educators in that school didn't know who Mao was and they were like, whatever, it's like maybe that's a picture of Chang Chi or something like that. I don't know. Like if they really thought that all Chinese people looked the same and like it was just some Chinese guy's poster on there, I don't understand why they're even educators to begin with. I mean, that's like absolutely no excuse. They should have known what the hell that was about.
They did. Like you said, they knew.
They knew. Bro Duke, thank you so much for the $9.99. It says, great discussion tonight, Nina. Google The Naked Communists, written in the late 50s, and you can see almost every point of communist subversion of Western culture in his writings laid out. Whoa. All right, let me check out The Naked Communist. I hope I don't get a bunch of porn.
That does sound like
probably
some
will.
TikTok girls like profile.
That's the girl. Remember what happened in Portland where the one chick start like spreading her cooch?
Yeah, that was her big protest.
What?
Like racism.
You never saw that?
No.
Yeah, she would just like completely 100% naked, top to bottom, and then would just stand in front of the cops and like spread her legs.
Spread
That
eagle.
was supposed
My God. Oh, no, wait. I think I did
Not
see that. The
racist,
stripper girl, right?
Yeah. She was like
She was stripped.
either OnlyFans or stripper. She was something.
Yeah, I think I remember.
What is
something like that.
There's some wild shit.
This must be it, right? The Naked Communists exposing communism and restoring freedom. There we go.
Is, volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe this was the
So maybe
follow up.
Okay. So there must
I
be a
don't know.
volume 1.
Oh yeah,
The Naked Socialist, the Naked Communist, volume 1. There it is. Well, there you go. If you guys are interested, I might have to check this out for sure. Thank you for this.
Bro, is this the same one? Because you said it says written in the 50s. Was that I can't read? Is that written in the 50s? Because it says 2014, but it could just be a reprinting.
That might be a reprint. I think it's probably a reprint.
You're probably right.
Yeah, it seems like it's something older.
No, if it's written by W. Cleon Skousen, then that's the book.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's the book.
Okay.
50 like hype. Yay. Thank you guys so much. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for liking. Keep liking.
Keep liking.
And share.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, because we kind of talked enough about the coup and everything. There's something else going on in the world right now. Well, especially in the States. There's a recall going on. There's a recall election of Gavin Newsom. Are you guys in California? You're not. I know, Matt. I know you're not in California right now. I think you're in Texas now.
Yeah, but I lived in California for 10 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, VW?
I'm in the Carolinas, not in California. But I did hear about this. I heard something about it. I'm not keeping up to date with everything about the recall, but I guess one of the more interesting takes is just some of the attacks on Larry Elder. And actually, shout out to the Syndicator. He's sending me something CNN said about the black and tan face of white supremacy. So basically, any minority that doesn't agree with the narrative is now being branded a white supremacist, which makes 0 sense whatsoever. But that's the new that's been going on really for a while, but that's ratcheting up, especially because there's a chance they may end up losing California off of it.
Did you hear what Donald Trump had to say today about it?
I did not hear what he said. What did he say?
I can't even play it because you know how they feel about Donald Trump.
Fuck you, Susan.
Basically, in not so many words, he said it's what they did to him, they're gonna do again. So that they can, they can get Gavin Newsom in again. He thinks it's gonna be played with. Let's just say.
Well, that state has a history of doing that. Ask everyone's favorite socialist Bernie. That was a terrible Bernie impression. But yeah, that state has a history of some funky things happening when things get counted. Let's just keep it that way. Keep your channel up. We're not taking out once.
We're trying to skate Matt on. I was just asking VW if he saw what Donald Trump had to say about Larry Elder versus Gavin Newsom. Did you see
I
that?
hadn't heard that. No, I heard that. I know a little bit about the situation, but I didn't know Trump weighed in on it.
Well, Trump just weighed in and said that that the same thing that happened to him versus Biden is going to happen in the Larry Elder Gavin Newsom thing, and that
it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, so he thinks that it's going to be played with, and that basically Larry is not going to win because of that.
There is some really scary shit that goes on in California. Like, I don't know, I can't attest to any of that, but I will say that like their anti-discrimination laws are insane. Like, it's legally okay to discriminate against a person if they're not part of a protected group. Well, there's only one group of people that aren't in a protected group, and that's just straight Christian white men. Like, that's it. Like, anyone else is technically in one of their protected groups. So they have laws on the book that say you can discriminate against those people. Like, it's like, that's truly insane. Like that. I thought the federal legislation is supposed to, like, you're not supposed to discriminate against anybody. They're like, no, you can. And they word it in a real clever way where it's like, you can discriminate against, you just like can't, basically they're protected. It's like, wow,
that's crazy. I did see this today that I was like, what the fuck? Because I mean, he's still an official. Like, you would think that somebody doing this would get arrested. I mean, isn't this considered assault? This is messed up. So he got attacked. Larry Elder got attacked today by some weirdo SJW lady. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Get that piece of shit out of there. Hey, Michael, stop. Oh wait, is this after he gets
Yeah, that does look like after.
That looks like after. Where is the other one? Hang on.
I think was that the same clip? It was just maybe like a little more in there, because that was at 50 seconds.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me just get back to that clip. Okay, here we go. Start from the beginning.
Look on the right.
So yeah, keep your eye over here in this weirdo gorilla mask, pink hair person. And this is Larry Elder, obviously.
I ain't gonna say what I would have did if I was in Mr. Elder situation, because he has free access.
Did you see that?
Did you see that?
I saw it.
She threw an egg.
And I'm
missed.
My thing is, had that been me, from that vantage point, I would have put the bitch to sleep.
Can I just say that this chick just basically proved that women can't throw? This was literally like a meter. What the fuck? Like, how do you miss this? I mean, not that I wanted him to get egg, but like, girl, work on your throw.
Just imagine like any other black politician on the left and a white anybody, woman or otherwise, has a
gorilla mask.
In a gorilla mask.
Yeah. And throws anything at like, could you like, this would be a story for the next 3 months about why white supremacy is this real problem and so on and so forth. But This is just this will go away. Like this isn't gonna get
Man.
covered.
This is mental. I cannot believe this happened.
So my thing is, I agree with the left in one respect. There's definitely a rampant white supremacy and institutional racism. It just comes from these motherfuckers because they're the motherfuckers who tell young Ripper how he's supposed to think. They tell every black person supposed to think a certain way, and
they imply that it's a unified group of people, that everyone has the same outlook.
Yeah,
and if you're not part of it, then you're like
the craziest shit is that this bitch attacked somebody else too. Like she was like, "I'm not done." Because this guy gets in her face like, don't do that.
Oh,
and she attacked him. She punched him in the face.
Jesus.
She's not even gonna go to jail. Like in California, nothing's gonna happen to her.
Mentally ill lunatic.
She keeps saying, "Punch me again, touch me again," and then she punches this guy.
Damn.
They learn to be victims so they can do. Oh, he hit me, and I'm defending myself in case you didn't see it.
Yeah.
This is the most mental shit ever. Just gonna pause for a moment here because Matt, you have to?
I gotta get going.
Okay.
I gotta boogie. But thank you so much for having me.
Of course, yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you for talking this long about all this weird shit.
Yeah, no, it was really fun, and it's nice to be just a guest. You know what I mean? Because so many times I'm running the show and you're juggling so much and you're looking at the chat and you're trying to pull up articles. This was great to just kind of sit here and shoot the shit. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You have an invite to this channel from now on because you were cool and I like hanging out and talking about this kind of stuff. So definitely we'll have to do it again.
Right on. And the same goes to you. I'd love to have you over on our channel sometime, my channel sometime. Do the cocktail lounge, that'd be a fun time if you ever want to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And also just everyone out there who doesn't know me, Matt from Foulball Productions. Give me a sub if you can. I always appreciate it. I try to do a little pop culture commentary, mostly movies, science fiction, that kind of thing. And me and Vigilante Williamson do a show every Wednesday night at 5:30 Central. Although that might be changing. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
But right now it's 5:30 Central. We alternate between my channel and his channel. So check us out.
There you go. And both of their links and their Twitters are in the description. So make sure you follow both Foulball and Vigilante. And then we're gonna stick around a little bit more VW, and then we're gonna jet to pretty soon. But again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Matt.
My pleasure. Thanks, Nina.
Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace, Matt. See you Friday.
Later, bitch. See you, brother.
Yeah. One thing I will say, as far as my Twitter, I'm the worst person to follow on Twitter because I only post I'm streaming. That's it. Like I don't do.
Well, that's fine because
tweet.
at least you're telling people where to find you. So if you're, so that's good. So so follow them on Twitter because they'll announce where they're, streaming and stuff. That's what I do too. I just announce everything on Twitter all the time.
Because I cannot trust YouTube's algorithm. But please sub to me, and maybe you'll be unsubbed anyway, because that keeps happening as well. But please sub to me as well. Oh my gosh!
There you go.
Especially, even if you want to see more Matt, you have to sub to me because we do a show. So
there you go. Yeah, you got to sub to both, definitely. So everybody's giving some love to Matt. Thank you guys. You guys are so awesome in the chat tonight. And then there was another thing. Oh, yeah. So the White House tomorrow will be coming out with updated COOF measures. Just FYI, everybody. The White House signals new COOF measures coming for unvaccinated Americans. So that we're all biting our nails to figure out what those will be. Jen Psaki said there are 6 steps. The president is announcing there will be new components. Psaki said some of that will be related to access to testing, and some will be related to mandates. Some will be related to how we ensure kids will be protected in schools. Kind of funny how we just talked about, the CDC tightening mask guidelines after threats from the teachers union, and then they're like, there's more guidelines with schools because well, we're in touch with them.
we More teachers taping masks to kids' faces.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what that increase the guidelines
So
in school.
yeah, we're definitely biting our nails and watching that go down. I did see this today that made me a little bit happy. I'm just gonna share this quickly. These people are setting bonfires and then they're putting masks in there. So that's fun. I want to
man.
do that. This was in Idaho.
Huh.
So that's nice. I mean, get
Okay.
together and
Just to
burn some
play
masks.
slight angel's advocate. Kids around fire, probably not something I'd recommend. Outside of that, though, you know.
Let them burn.
I
It's
am-
okay. They'll be fine. Put some aloe on it.
Well, I mean, I'm just worried about one of them going like just up in smoke. Like, because one of them was like kind of close. I'm like, if he,
Yeah, well, one of them was a little bit close, but see
and
it's
kids
okay.
don't pay attention. A
They
hoodie
don't pay
gets up.
attention.
Not to be the mom or whatever, but like I'm like, oh my god, don't catch on fire.
Well,
That's the one
somebody's
thing I
got to be
thought.
the adult. That's okay. That was adult.
Outside of that, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Instead of like kids getting masks taped to their face, they're burning that
Yes.
shit.
Much better. Much better.
they're cleaning up all the masks on the ground.
There you go.
Dude, I saw a bird trapped in a mask the other day, and I was like,
oh man.
this is just it's the most
didn't even think
ridiculous
of
shit
that.
ever.
They're the
No, man,
climate
I've seen
change
some
people.
crazy ass shit now. I was like, I've actually seen it in real life. First, I had seen it in like on pictures, and I was like, oh man. And then I actually saw one the other day, like in the street, and I was like, it just made me so sick. I was like, this is sick. This is like what we're doing to the planet and just everything. Because these people are all like about,
Yeah,
you
I was
know,
gonna say it.
the
You mentioned climate
climate,
change and all
freaking
that.
the
But I'm like,
earth,
yeah, all these
and
damn masks.
ban the
It's like-
straws.
Yeah, ban the straws. I'll drive my Prius, which has way worse of a ecological impact with these damn batteries.
The batteries, yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
it's way worse than combustible engine.
yeah, which they're making illegal now, right? Like, because I know they're doing it in Canada. It's like 2030. So like the last combustion, like basically the gas car that's going to be sold. I
Wow,
think
I didn't
Biden
know
said. I think Biden said 2033 for you guys. I'm not sure, but
Really, this
Maybe in
is
the
why I should
maybe
pay more
somebody in
attention.
the
Don't be a
chat-
dumb American like me. Pay attention to stuff. Well, it's Agenda 2030. So, sheesh.
yeah, they did say that. I forget what year it was for you guys, but that's coming, man. That's coming. That's the next step. It's the climate people, and the climate pandemic or whatever you want to call
Oh
it.
man.
Yeah.
Plastic is a toxic material in Canada?
Well, the plastic has been like a big no-no in Canada for a long time. Like they've like really they took that war with plastic. You know, the I don't know. They're crazy over there with the recycling and the, you know, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, they're nuts. They barely use any plastic anymore.
Huh. I mean, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't use plastic, but that's just pretty crazy.
It is. It's nuts. Okay, let's see what else I had to talk about. Oh, right. The sex strike. Do we want to talk about that? I don't know if I want to talk about that. Did you
that's
see
good.
that?
I saw that, but I didn't pay it no mind.
Good, don't.
The thing that's interesting to me is that these wasn't it like Bette Midler or something?
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
is like well past even thinking about that with like who the fuck do you think you are that you could just tell a bunch of women what to do with their body? How come you guys don't respect female agency all of a sudden? I thought you guys were the feminists. You guys just tell women what to do. Like, like don't fuck anybody. Let's say think like we do.
Well, the craziest thing to me was one of the women was like, don't have sex with the okay, you know what? Let's just watch it. She was like, don't have sex with someone who's cheating on you. And I was like, seriously? Like, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good advice. Like on a general, like you should probably not be having sex with someone who's cheating on you.
Ban abortion.
Okay, here we go.
Ban abortion.
Real quick.
Okay, cool. We're not having sex. Women are fine with this.
Sorry, what was that?
Thought about the irony. So, like, if you're going to not have sex because of a law about abortion, you also make it less likely that you would ever need one because you're not having sex.
Yeah, because celibacy is like the best form of birth control.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all very funny.
It's from. Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. This gets better.
No sex. Cool. That means no babies. Even better.
If I were a Texan, I would do a sex strike. I think the women should join together and say, go fuck yourself, and see what happens.
So Texas banned abortion, which means that I am not sleeping with my partner, and you shouldn't be sleeping with your male-identifying partner until they
I like how she mentioned male-identifying partner.
He should have left you whenever you called him a male-identifying partner. That should have been, all right, gotta go.
Bye. Oh my God.
Turn it. We are on strike, fuckers.
Quit sex. Don't have no more sex unless you are in a relationship and you're happy in it. If you are single,
wait a second, stop
with
again.
Men,
That probably should have been your advice. So so you just told on yourself, sweetheart. So basically, you saying you just been fucking randos. You don't give a fuck how they feel. That's literally what you say. Like, only have sex if you're in a relationship with them and something healthy. I'm like, you just been fucking a bunch of random motherfuckers. You just came to this conclusion because of this abortion law. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, you can
just listen to the gold that comes out of her mouth next.
or with a man that you know cheats on you and makes you miserable, get you a vibrator, invest in some erotica. You know.
Wait, let's go back.
We need her whole thing.
Yeah.
Partner until they overturn it. We are on strike, fuckers.
Quit sex. Don't have no more sex unless you are in a relationship and you're happy in it. If you are single,
so she's just been fucking anybody. She didn't need to be happy. She didn't need to be in a relationship. She just as long as you were male identifying, you too could potentially put a kid in her for her to abort, and she's so angry that won't happen anymore.
This chick's sleeping with people who cheating on her. Okay, just listen.
And or with a man that you know cheats on you and makes you miserable, get you a vibrator, invest in some erotica. You know, just retire the cat for a couple months.
We're tired of being unappreciated.
You know, I'm just saying I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you stopping having sex with some dude that cheats on you and having sex with all these rando dudes. I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Valued, not respected, and not given bodily autonomy. We are going on strike. Sex strike, work strike. We're boycotting everything.
Congrats.
Sex strike and work strike? What does the sex strike have to do with the work strike? Are they, unless she's a hooker? She's saying I'm not going to hook anymore? Like, I don't get
she'll
it.
be too irritable for not having sex, so she doesn't want to go to work.
Is it that, or does she just want unemployment? And she's like,
could be
like, I don't really like. I'm going on a strike. Like, what? Like, is this like a loan strike? Like, what are you doing? I'm guessing she was a hooker. That's why she was like, we need to stop working, y'all.
But she wasn't an attractive one.
No, she was like a daytime hooker. Not a nighttime one. She's like a daytime hooker.
She looks like she should be hooking fish or something like that.
Forget vaccinated.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, it's only one state. That's the other thing too. Because they like this landmark thing happened in Mexico where they were like, abortions are legal now. First of all, it's only one state. I forget what state it is, but I'm guessing it's the state closest to Texas, actually. And I think they did it as a business move because they want people from Texas to go over. I'm not even joking you. I think it was a Machiavellian move on Mexico's part because they were like, well, these fuckers are getting rid of it. So let's get some business. We'll open our clinic so you can come give us your US dollars and we'll abort your babies for you.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like I because we were talking about this, I looked up because I want to verify that I'm not talking craziness. But yeah, over it's estimated 20 million kids. Because like I'm a libertarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people should. I don't like regulating my beliefs, but that just because I think something legally should exist doesn't necessarily I encourage it. And just like I said, when I found out the statistics on abortion in the Black community in particular, and that there were actual like Planned Parenthood was started by somebody who was indeed racist, and there have been eugenic elements to this, I'm like, okay, that's never ever talked about. The entire like, if you're estimating 20 million black kids were killed since 1973 via abortion or aborted, whatever word, if that's too strong for Susan, fuck you. But when you're talking about that, and there's only 30 some odd million of us in the country, like that's insane. That's insane to me.
It is.
And that you don't at least say, okay, even I'm not saying it, I'm not telling anybody what to do with their body, just like you shouldn't be telling me what to do with my body. But like there's something wrong. That's not a desired result. Can we at least say that? Can we at least say encouraging, like literally encouraging people to get abortions may not be the best way to handle it. There's other ways you could maybe have birth control be over the counter. There's other potential solutions. Maybe we shouldn't. And now we talked about these teachers. A lot of these teachers are now teaching kids about sexuality and consent and even abortions in preschool, in kindergarten.
They're teaching them early, like every year now. It's like it's getting kind of ridiculous. But you know what the craziest thing is that and it's something that I've thought about since I've gotten older, because when I was younger, like I was way more like pro-choice, you know, like and I was much more liberal when I was younger and everything like that. Now that I'm in my 30s and I'm like, well, I'm a full-grown woman now, and like if I get pregnant, like I'm not having an abortion. Like I've already decided that if I would get pregnant, that I wouldn't do that. Because I value life. I do value life. And I don't think that at this point in time, like, you know, me being like in my mid 30s, like it's the right thing for me to do, because I'm in a relationship with my partner. I've been with them for a long time, and it just wouldn't feel right to abort a baby because I'm selfish and I don't want to have one. Like it's like there's so many nuances to this, right?
You hate women? What's wrong with you? That's not how you're supposed
I
to
know. It's so crazy. And then but the craziest part is, though, I understand that it has to be a choice that everyone can make and everything like that. But I've never been under the, like, again, we've talked about all of this tonight. I just don't believe in government mandated medical anything. So I don't believe that the government should mandate abortions or not, you know, like that it should be a choice, and the government should not have a say in that, because I just don't believe that. Like, you should be able to get an abortion if you need an abortion in a safe place. But I like philosophically, though, that's a totally different discussion. And we should be at a place in our society now, I believe, in 2021 in the 21st century, where we should want to have a society that you don't want to have abortions in. So like philosophically, it's like it's a totally different story. And I've reached that in my own life. And that's something that has to be kind of like taught to everyone, even at a young age, to respect sex for what it is, which is procreation. It's for procreation. That is why we have sex. And orgasm, you know, is the fun part of it and everything like that. But technically, you know, freaking control yourselves. Like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I think it's a very personal choice, but I don't believe that the government should have any say in it at all. I think it's crazy.
That's where I stand too. Like I said, somebody said pro-life libertarian, and other people say even the libertarian argument should protect the kids. I get that, and I mean, I'm 99.99% there, because I honestly, spiritually, I'm there, because I life is valuable, and to destroy life is wrong. But like I said, I don't like legislating my opinions.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's
I
my
don't like
thing.
legislating
So even-
opinions either. I'm a
It's
very
not my job. It's not my job to tell somebody what they should do legally, and that's why I have a more like libertarian, almost anarcho-capitalist. Shout
I'm the same way.
Just more. Let me do what I want to do, so long as I'm not harming anyone else. Now, that's why there's a huge argument philosophically with this. You are harming the child or the unborn child or whatever else they want to call it to dehumanize it. But it's a child, so you are harming. So that's why I understand that argument as well. I guess the only thing is like I'm also a realist, and it's not like throughout history other methods have been used that weren't the safest. So I'd rather that.
Exactly.
So that's where I
why I'm
say,
like,
legally
man,
allowed.
I don't think the government. Yeah, I agree. And the thing is too, is that I'm not like other crazy liberal woman, is that I don't believe that men shouldn't have an opinion in this, because yes, while it grows in our bodies, and yes, we are the ones that give birth and everything like that, contrary to what liberal media would have you think, men cannot get pregnant. Okay, it's a biological thing. It's women's
Lil Nas
only.
X isn't pregnant.
Okay, no,
What?
I'm sorry, VW, you can't go get pregnant. Okay, you just can't. It's just the way biology works.
The way my stomach is, you would think that's not the case. I'm a little chubby. Shout out to COVID. But yeah, you're right.
But my point though is that, like, I don't believe that men shouldn't have a say, because a lot of people are like, well, women, like, our body, our choice, and like, women are the only ones that should have a say in this. I don't believe in that either, because it takes two to make a baby. Okay, no matter what, at the end of the day, without the sperm, there will be no fetus. Okay, so I understand that we're the incubators, if you will, because we will produce the child in our body, and yes, we have more to do with it in that sense. But without that one little thing that causes that to happen, it wouldn't. So therefore, the father should have every right to have a say. The man should have a right to have a say in whether or not the woman decides to get an abortion, but in a personal, familial thing. Not like I'm saying like men lawmakers should make that choice for you. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you are two people and you're, you have a baby, like, you get pregnant, both people should be involved in that decision. It shouldn't be just like, oh, the woman gonna make the decision and the man's gonna have to deal with that. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous.
I agree with
notion.
that. I mean, I won't go off down the rabbit hole on family court law, because that is a mess of inequality as regards to the man and his child. In a lot of ways, whether he'll not, he'll see his child, rather than not. He can't decide whether or not the kid is born either way. So if a woman wants to abort a child that he wants, he can't decide it, or keep a child for the purposes of exploiting that man. He can't make a decision on that either. So it's a really messed up thing. And part of me there's a story about this guy, PJ Washington, who's actually, I think he plays for the Hornets. And the woman who got pregnant by him admitted she because he was only 18 when she met him, and admitted she was trying to exploit him because he was probably going to go to the NBA, and he did.
Wow.
For NBA money. That she admitted it.
Oh
so
my
like
God.
there's that element too. So that the whole
I hate stuff like that.
Yeah, people suck. Human beings.
I know people, like, they can be so weird. Like it's so weird because, like, I don't know if you know about my other show. Actually, I heard you talking about how you tried to do good news on your show. on your channel. I do that here on Fridays.
Yeah.
I talk about good news.
I learned,
and
I see some similar story. You actually, because I had stopped doing it, and I saw one recently. I need to get back into doing that, so I was lurking.
I love doing that because I don't want to think that humans are just really fucked up creatures, because we can be. We can be very messed up beings, but we can also be loving and compassionate, and we're capable of so much great things. That's why I like having my Friday show where I highlight all the good stuff that people do during that week, because I do this show and I look at objective reality and I look at all this crazy madness, and then I balance it out with Friday and be like, okay, you know what? It's okay. we're not all effed up. There's good people out there. I think it's important.
In my shows with something positive, because we'll usually talk about something depressing. And it's always like uplifting to see something like, oh yeah, human beings do care about each other and do things that are positive for each other all the time. Like as much as all this evil shit that's happening and all these fucked up things that are happening, human beings are being good to each other all the time, and it's never reported, and it's never a part of the news cycle. And I think it's something that should definitely happen. It should definitely be pushed out, and I'm glad that you do, and thank you for doing it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that you know about it. That's why I try to tell everyone to at least tell somebody they know, like even in your family or whatever. Tell them about Infinite Hope. Tell them about some good news. Because I'm telling you, man, everybody's sick of this shit. Everybody's sick of watching the news every day. You yourself, you're telling me like you're not really into it anymore, and it's understandable, man, because it's just like the brain can't handle so much negativity. Like at one point, we're like, I'm done. It's crazy.
We were talking about that earlier on Culture Crime Fire, soft plug. But no, we were talking about like you can only deal with so much. You can only and not to overdo it. Like, so even you guys in the chat, it's good that you're here. We appreciate you being here. Like, share, sub, and all that other cool stuff. But like, between here and all the other places you get news, balance it out. You don't have to check every story. You'll enrage yourself. You'll dehumanize yourself. I think sometimes even in the community we forget there's people who may not know, who aren't like SJWs, may not even know this shit is happening. So don't always assume you can rile yourself out. You can rile yourself up, and then you're all Alex Jones crazy. Soft plug for F&T. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Boba Yogi for $2 says, off subject, Hood Cowboy Bebop free use on YouTube. What does that mean?
Please explain. I'm like, Hood Cowboy Bebop.
I don't understand what this means. And then he went on to say, EFAP, those 3 short fan films, absolutely perfect and just fun. King Vader is genius. Is that like some sort of Cowboy
like abridged something? Like, you know what I mean? You ever see Dragon Ball Z abridged?
No.
Where they like do a different voiceover of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, is that what that is?
They make fun of it. And so is that what Hood Cowboy Bebop, something similar to that?
I don't know.
Like,
Bobo, please give us more details. Exactly. We need more good news to balance out the bad. I have to, because I need it for my own sanity. Oh, okay. Yeah. Spike says it's a fan film. Oh, all right. I'll have to check that out. I like fan films.
Shout out to fan films.
It's called fan films are better than Hood Cowboy. Okay, let me see. Let me look into it. Hood Cowboy.
Cowboy Bebop.
Bebop. I can spell. Oh, there's 2. It says Hood Cowboy Bebop 2.
It was 3.
Oh, 3, yeah. Huh. Oh, yeah, I had checked this out. This is really good. Yes, it is very good. I've seen this. I've seen this. It's good. It's good stuff.
Huh.
It's like, when you forget because you've seen so many things in your life, and then I just saw the thumbnail and I was like, I've seen this. Yeah, it's really good, Bobo. I agree.
I've never seen it. I'm gonna check it out.
Definitely check it out. It's really good. Okay. And that's why it's even more disappointing when you see stuff like that and you're like, and then Netflix freaking shits all over their adaptation. Like, my God. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last thing we're going to go through, because this is just for fun. Brie Larson posted this today.
Oh, Foulball missed it. I don't know if you know about
I
the.
know.
Do you know about the Foulball meme? And I don't know if I should spread the thing.
Please
I don't
do.
know. So okay, so one time on a cocktail lounge, Matt was a bit inebriated, but he said something that a lot of men, if they're honest with themselves, maybe not men in this chat, but he admitted like, hey, Bree's kind of hot. You say what you want about what she says. She's kind of hot. Which
I'm so sad that he's not here right now.
I tentatively agree, and unfortunately, it's become such a meme that half of the show is taunting him about Bree. But I did not see that this happened.
So this happened.
He would have been happy.
I know, and he said, or she said,
right the first time.
You run into me hiking in this outfit. What do you do? And I said, call the fashion police, because what the hell is she wearing?
Trying to show off her legs?
Girl, you don't okay, as a Canadian that used to hike, you don't hike in this outfit. You just don't. You never know what the elements can throw at you. There's so many things wrong with this outfit when it comes to actually hiking. If your goal is to legit hike, I don't know. This is a terrible outfit to wear if you're hiking. Yeah, that's not hiking.
Isn't she supposed to be a feminist or whatever? Or I don't know. I don't really know why everyone hates Brie Larson, to be fair.
Yeah, it's kind of like fishnet. It's like this weird fishnet dress thing. She's got this. Okay, so she's got a long sleeve shirt. I think she's wearing a one piece thing below that. So then she's got the long sleeve over it. Then she's got this weird sheer fishnet dress thing over that outfit with knee-high brown boots.
What is happening?
This is legit. This is one of the most bizarre outfits I've ever seen. When someone's like, "I'm going to hike,"
right there, but it's a very weird outfit.
It's weird, especially for a hike. What are you doing? I don't know.
And then Bendigar, exposing flesh plus hiking equals bad idea. Yeah, mosquitoes exist along with a lot of other fucking animals.
There's bugs, there's mosquitoes, there's rain could start happening, and then your leather boots are gonna get really fucked up in rain. You need actual rain boots or hiking boots. The hike of shame. Kill it with fire.
But Bendigar, that was my point. Why is she using that's fairly sexual. She barely has any pants. She has no pants on. She's basically
pants.
No pants, long sleeve, and so trying to show her little legs off. But are you sure you don't care about what 40-year-old white men think of you, mid-30s Brie Larson with your legs exposed?
You know what I don't get about these pictures either is she's got one where she's looking at the camera, and then it's okay, that's the photo, right? Whatever. And she's walking, and then there's another one where she's looking down, and then there's another one where she's still walking. So these are three consecutive pictures, or three or four, somebody took 6 or 7, 8, maybe 10, 20 pictures, right? And she picked the three. But it's usually when you're picking pictures, you pick the best one out of the lot, right? And then you post that one.
Yeah, that first one looks like she's in captivity.
She looks weird. I don't
blink if you're being kidnapped, Brie. Please. Blink twice. Jesus. She looks like she's been in she's been kidnapped, and she's trying to signal through Morse code that she needs to be saved in that very first pic, and then she's looking away in shame that no one caught the Morse code in the other two.
See, 100% punk battle. Especially if you're in Canada or somewhere like that, you want pants. if you're in Cancun, Mexico, like the way I am, and you're like, I'm going for a hike where there's no mountains, like I'm just going for a walk or something, then yeah, you wear shorts or something like that. Like even in Canada in the summertime, I can see you wear shorts, but you bring yourself a backpack where you have an extra pair of pants because it might start raining any minute. Either way, you're supposed to prepare for the weather. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this. This is messed up.
What is going on with her legs, by the way? Everyone talks about her hoofs, but like those legs look like very weird.
Like very skinny. Like,
not just skinny, kind of like, and I'm no one to talk, kind of like skinny, fat, and just weird. Maybe they're just aged. I don't know how old she is.
I don't know. I don't know if I can see that. I can see that she's very skinny legs. Like she's got very tiny legs.
Got an awkward look to them.
They're kind of bony. Like
knobby knees. Maybe that's what it is. It's the knees. They're very There's a weird look to them.
Yeah, it's like really bony and weird looking. She actually has like kind of like anime legs because you've got like the the wide to the very tiny and then like wide again. Like it's kind of like anime-ish legs, kind of.
Yeah.
Because people don't usually have those kind of legs.
Oh yeah, they don't look natural. That's what it is. I'm trying to put my finger on it, but her legs don't look natural. And Ginger Ninja's right. She looks like a wood goblin.
Oh my god, that's just mean. She looks like a wood goblin. You guys are like so mean to Brie. I'm not that mean to her. I just think her fashion choice should have changed. Like, I don't know about her looking like a wood goblin. I mean, maybe a wood elf, like, because she does kind of look elfy. Is that what she's going for? Is she going for like wood elf? Is this like for some sort of Lord of the Rings, like cast me in your Lord of the Rings series, Amazon? I want to go as a wood elf. Is that what she's doing?
Or maybe like some alternate like Link to the Past.
Okay, let's go into the
thing.
Let's go to the best part here, the comments.
All right.
If I run into you while walking, I think that you were a fellow hunter like myself. I'd then ask you if you wanted to team up. What the fuck? See, this guy, he's thinking that she's into the elf thing.
Yeah, like are you LARPing? Like you think you're in a role playing game?
Are you cosplaying or what are you doing? Yeah. Oh, you're saying that's okay. You guys think that that's what she's going for?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're onto something.
Can't be Robin Hood.
Maybe.
Oh my god, her feet scared my psyche. That's funny. Okay, hold on. Wait, let's see. What's the other comments? Continue running, says Adam. SCD sucks. Tell you Captain Marvel was terrible. Oh, that's mean. You don't do that. Politely step aside for you and the photographer. God, you're a simp. The lighting guy, the wardrobe lady, her assistant.
Oh, he's trying to be funny.
Your assistant. Oh, he's making fun. Some intern from the agency who's documenting the whole thing. Your security staff, TMZ, the hairstylist, her assistant, and some guy on the phone. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, because there probably is like, because I had to peruse her Twitter. There's a lot of like clearly like photographed professionally shots on her Twitter.
Oh
I guess celebs
God,
just do this. I'm a boomer, so I don't know what the kids do, but like there's just like a ton of them, even ones that are supposed to not look that way.
Let's see. So, let's see. Bring it up.
Oh, geez. Actually, make sure I don't
have
stuff with the messages.
This just popped up on my feed, and I was like, "Hey, I think Vigilante Williamson and Matt like Brie Larson, like as in
Yeah. Like I said, it is a meme of Matt's.
Like let's talk about this.
Oh, sorry about me boomering things. I'll actually bring up old Captain Marvel's Twatter. So
Oh
they're
God,
sharing.
her twatter. That doesn't sound good at all.
Well,
All right,
yeah, I'm sure. So let me see if I can go. Yeah, she has
that's
to
not
text me
Captain
more.
Marvel. That's Shang-Chi.
Yeah, no, but here, this is what I mean. Stuff like this.
Ah, yeah. This is so set up.
Like set up stuff like that. This is the picture that we were talking about in her simping for Simu, which I kind of did too. Even this is, I guess this is a
Who the hell is
what
that?
is
Is
it?
that her boyfriend?
That's her
I didn't-
male presenting partner.
I didn't know she had a boyfriend.
Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't.
They're
Who knows?
kissing,
That's her male presenting partner. That's not her boyfriend.
but they were kissing.
I don't
Weren't
know who
they?
that is, honestly. Yeah. So
Dude, male presenting partners.
that's what they
Does
just
she
said.
make out with every fucking person she presents an award with? I don't understand.
No, but male presenting instead of man, because you can't say man anymore. That's what they just said in one of those things.
Are you serious right
Yeah,
now?
in one of those abortion things, one of them said your male presenting partner. So that's where I
Oh
got
my
that
God.
from. I
Oh,
thought
that's
Carlo
what you
did it.
meant. Oh my God.
Yeah. Instead of
Yeah,
man,
like
you can't say.
they refer to themselves as male.
Okay, I'm just
I
looking
didn't
at the
even know
comment.
she was like going out with someone. Oh my God, what is that Kermit thing? That was so funny.
I guess this is somebody's sad.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, let me go back and see some
Kermit
of these.
memes crack me up.
But yeah, she has these pictures. I guess this is maybe Illuminati one eye symbolism. Otherwise, it's supposed to be a generic.
Yeah, what's up
selfie.
with this?
I don't know. She's trying to. I know a big part of her gimmick is trying to seem like she's a normal person when she clearly is not. This is what her Twitter. These are fairly recent tweets. So this is how her Bree Brigade is built. Looking at this Twitter, here's her being a normal person.
Wait,
You know,
who's that? Who's the little kid?
I don't know who he is. It says I guess Jacob Tremblay. He's a young actor, it looks like.
Yeah, he's in some shit. Isn't he the kid that was in the room with her?
Maybe.
Wait, can you click on that picture? I want to
Okay.
see the guy. I think it is that kid.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Jacob Tremblay.
Jacob Tremblay. Did you ever see The Room? Yeah, it is. It's the same kid. He was in Room. So I saw that movie when I was when I didn't know anything about Brie Larson. Like I didn't know anything about her at all. And I watched her child presenting friend. I watched that movie. That movie was really fucked up. Like really fucked up, but in a really good way, because I really enjoyed watching the movie. I was like, holy shit, because it was about like basically like this girl that gets kidnapped by this dude, and he locks her in this room for basically years, and he rapes her for like years, and she has his kid, and that's the kid, that kid that plays the little kid, and then so something happens and they get found, and it's basically like the story is about how like they escape from the guy and then how they deal with the trauma that they went through after they get away from the guy. And it's really good. Like it was a really good movie. And I thought she was really good in it. And that's the one that she won the Oscar for. But like after that, like she went crazy, man. Like it's like as if like Fame, like it didn't suit her well. Like she was fine being a no-name person, and she was like a decent actress, you know? And then all of a sudden she won that Oscar, and then she went freaking nuts. And I was like, okay, like I don't know why you're so crazy now.
Yeah. Fame does drive people crazy. I think it's probably driven her crazy because like a lot of this is just like trying to appear as a normal person. This is actually this picture is how this damn Foulball thing got started. It was her in her
Oh,
Scott
let's
Pilgrim
see.
days.
Oh my God. I
She
totally
was a lot
forgot she was
hotter
in Scott
in the
Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim era. And it's like that's how Foulball Guys Obsession. This is another probably staged photograph. Those are
Oh, that
those
is so
lovely feet.
staged.
She's just a normal person.
Man, she's
With
got like
knobby ass
Krusty the
feet.
Clown feet, doesn't she?
Yeah, man. Jesus. The fuck?
Or sorry, not Krusty the Clown.
Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
She's got those Sideshow Bob feet. Or like Peggy Hill. She's got like that size 16 and a half
They're
feet
long
over
as
there.
shit. Like look at how long this foot is. It goes on fucking forever.
God.
It's like a third of her leg is a foot.
She's got size 16 and a half.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God. All right. Well, it's been a really fun night. We've been going about like more than 2.5 hours now. So we're gonna call it a night. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, VW. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. I'm at Vigilante Williamson on YouTube. That's the best place to find me because, like I said, I'm the worst follower on Twitter. The only point of following me is because you're not going to get notifications more than likely because of YouTube. Fuck you again, Susan. But I talk about this sort of stuff that we talk about here. I talk about pop culture. I talk about whatever the hell else I want to talk about. Sometimes I do retro gaming or just gaming of like newer games that have a retro game feel. So please check me out. And also, you saw my partner in culture crime fighting, Matt from Foulball Productions. I'm on his channel quite a bit as well. So please check me out on there. And then I also, even though it's funny, all the stuff I do is now kind of in flux this week, as of this week. We got to do a show with 24/7 Fusion Media and Fat Steven Seagal called The Primetime Kings. We were doing it on Monday. We actually have to change the day, and I don't even know when that is. But I guess stay on Twitter. Maybe there's another reason to follow me so I can announce when that show is coming back. Even though we did do one Monday, so please check out old episodes on 24/7 Fusion Media's channel. So I do a lot of stuff. I thank you again for having me. Of course. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone in the chat for dealing with my rambling and stuttering and whatever all the other shit I do. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Everybody, the links are in the description. Make sure you subscribe to both Vigilante and Foulball Productions. It's been a great show tonight. So as for me, you can catch me on I think I'll be on Jane's channel tomorrow for the Queen's Council. I think that starts at 9 Eastern. And then Friday, of course, I'll meet you guys back here at 3:45 Eastern, 2:45 Central for Infinite Hope. And let's talk about some good news and good things. And I'm going to try and wrap that show up earlier because some crazy shit's going down Friday night. Alex Jones is going to be on FNT. So I'm going to definitely have to be in the chat for that, of watching that. But Friday will be the 50th episode of Infinite Hope. So I want to do something special about that. So make sure you keep an eye on Twitter. I'll be announcing something special for the 50th episode, and it should be really, really fun. So thank you guys also very much for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you're smashing the like, sharing the stream, and all that good stuff. Leave a comment even afterwards, and let everyone know how you felt about our conversation or anything like that to help the algorithm. Thank you guys also very much. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Peace, everybody.
Bye. Let me find my outro thing. Okay. Bye, everybody.
I think that allowing for the book being, after all, a parody, something like 1984 could actually happen. This is the direction the world is going in at the present time. In our world, there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement. The sex instinct will be eradicated. We shall abolish the orgasm. There will be no loyalty except loyalty to the party. But always there will be the intoxication of power. Always, at every moment, there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.